Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the outer fringes of reality, where fact meets speculation, where paranoia meets illumination, where madness overlaps the fragile membrane of sanity. Do not be afraid. Open your eyes and open your minds to that region that lies beyond the realm of the known, that region we call the ExoZone. I am your host, Victor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. And usually we are joined by Gary Beekler of the Nerdrotic channel. However, Gary has been abducted. Gary has gone missing 411. Gary has been carried away by the little people. I don't know. I don't know where Gary is. I've been trying to reach him, and we have not, as of yet, had any luck in that regard. So this is the first time that I have ever done ExoZone solo.
Well, you're not solo, fortunately. It's Harvey Cthulhu.
Harvey Cthulhu, the future destroyer of Earth.
That's right. I have decided to step in, especially since it's my own channel, you know.
Yes, it's your own channel. It's weird how I can't seem to schedule a live stream on my damn channel, but on your channel, it worked perfectly.
Oh, isn't that funny? Well, isn't that weird?
Yes, it's damn weird. It's damn weird. Well, welcome, seekers of wisdom and truth. We're just gonna fly solo here for a little while. Hopefully Gary will show up. I am a little bit concerned about him. Hopefully, however, he says the strawberry fields have poor cell reception, says Stephen Stelling. That's quite possible. And Marcus Cato says the Y2K computers got him. Hail Wes Moody webcast. I know we want Gary to come back. Gary Doomcock. Gary was caught by the man, says Diego Flores. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
I don't either.
Yeah, are you sure you didn't have something to do with it?
On my word of honor as a scholar.
Are you a scholar?
No.
I'm not filled with optimism. Well, all righty, guys. I tell you what, let's just kind of click on through here. But first, I think what we ought to do is go to some super chats for a change, which is a little bit of vamping. I would like to get Gary's reactions on some of these things, but you know, while we wait, perhaps we could go ahead and do a little bit of super chats here. Let's see what we can pull up, and then we will go. All right. So first of all, we have here a super chat from Josiah Clinch. Hail Josiah Clinch with a $5 super chat. God bless you, Josiah. He says, thank you for standing with my family. DC tell all. There are happy kids. Yes, I won't go into the details of what's been going on with poor Josiah, but I will say that his family has been through the ringer, folks, through the ringer. And I am proud to stand with my dear friend Josiah Clinch and his family. And I just send a shout out of love and support to all of them. God bless them. God bless them. And Josiah, I'm really, really, really happy for you, man. I can't even tell you. We have got a super chat from Berto Pray 5. Hail Berto Pray 5, who says, with this $5 super chat, Kapla ExoZone. Hail Doomcock, Nerdrotic, and the you-know-who's in the you-know-what. In the you-know-where, a base near a dry lake in Nevada. That's right. I want to say hello, east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies, and of course, from coast to coast. Hail to you, Berta Pray 5, and God bless you, sir, for being here. It is a wonderful to see you. And we really, really appreciate you, man. Mary Ashmead says, I was getting the emails too. What emails? There's some kind of emails? Did I miss something? I don't know what the emails. Harvey has cast Gary into the fandom zone. I don't know. I don't know. I hope Gary will come home to us soon. Maybe there was a power outage. Maybe there's an internet outage. Maybe he has been,
He's being probed. He's being probed. Let me tell you something. When those aliens get a hold of you, they don't need handles to do what they're going to do.
handles to do what they're going to do. Holy smokes. Mitch Thibault with a $2.99 Canadian super chat. Hail Mitch says, hey you with a super sticker. Thank you, Mitch. I really appreciate it. Casey Osowski, my dear friend. Hail to you, Casey, with a $10 super chat. God bless you, Casey. Always good to see you. And Casey Osowski says, hail guys. Bad news. The government is cutting my funds starting now. Where's an alien invasion when I need one? I'll still super chat, but not as large. Well, Casey Osowski, where's the alien invasion? I think we're going to go ahead and talk about that here very, very shortly, because there is some weird stuff going on in the world. The Kelvington with a $10 super chat. Hail to the Kelvington, says, nice to see the ExoZone is back. Thank you, Kelvington. Wonderful, wonderful to see you. Uh-oh. Gary forgot his safe word. Boomers says forever sci-fi. Well, that's possible. That's possible, I have to say. All right. Well, let me go to the first of our entries. Sadly, this may be a short broadcast. It just doesn't feel right, doing it without Gary, and I just don't know where he is. I don't know where he is. And I mean, it's, this is definitely not his normal tardiness. So I don't know. Jeffrey says, I live about a mile away from Gary. My power and internet is fine. Let me know if I can do anything. Well, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. It's very, very weird. Yeah. Where in the world is Gary Beekler? Like, in his Carmen Miranda, what is it? Carmen, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? That's what it was. And I don't know the answer to that either. All right, well, let's go ahead and what I'm going to do is share this screen. Okay. I'm going to share a different screen, and I want to go ahead and talk to you and show you this. This is interesting. So, this is kind of the first story of the evening. Now, this purportedly is Mars. This is Mars. And, to me, it looks like a bunch of rocks. I don't know how people can pore and peruse over these things. It's kind of a weird thing. He says his website says the show starts at 7:00 Pacific. Well, he'll be... Well, that's it then. He'll probably be here on the hour. And then I'll have to go over all of this again. Well, that's all right. What the hell? So anyway, as you can see, I don't know. I'm kind of going over. Ooh, look at that. My cursor will show up on the. So you see this here little circular area. Well, some guy, some dedicated seeker of wisdom and truth, was perusing all of this stuff, because these are big, high-resolution images, looking for some kind of evidence of alien life. Well, I tell you guys, guy may have found something, because let's go ahead and get a little bit closer in on this. Now, this is what it... all right, this is like farther away. The pictures were not well arranged.
And you're telling me
This is from a video that was posted. I did these shots from it. Now, when you zoom in, now this was originally colored the same red as all of these surroundings. So this is color enhanced. Actually had the damn original one, but in all the confusion with Gary AWOL and possibly being probed even now, even as we speak, he's being probed. He's being probed. This is what I got. This is color enhanced, and they have gone ahead and emphasized this a little bit. This is on Mars. This is some of the stuff that just the rover is just catching. Let's zoom in for a closer look. Look at this. Look at this ridge. Look at these serrations. Look how it has kind of a little geometric shape there. We've got a ridge broken, got a little indentation there. Looks like some kind of, well, they called it a sarcophagus on here, but I don't know. I don't particularly think it looks like a sarcophagus, but I don't know what the hell it looks like. What it doesn't look like is random junk. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Phil McCracken, who is an authority on these kinds of things, says hashtag Gary getting full body cavity search. Aeronaut says, if he's being probed, we want details. Wes Moody Webcast says, don't probe me, bro. Don't probe me. The notifications didn't do anything. Well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do. Yes. Captain Spire says, enhance. It's blue. It could be a TARDIS. Well, it doesn't have the stench of failure about it, though, so probably not. And Burn of Prey 5 says, it's Nomad. Looks like something from Easter Island. Colin McAdams says, perfectly natural rocks. I disagree.
I don't know, man. It looks pretty weird to me. Let's look at another view.
So that one's zoomed out. I mean, obviously it was a little blurred, so this sharpens it up a little bit. Doesn't look like any of the surrounding rocks. It looks like it has some kind of odd structure to it, frankly. Look at that. That's interesting to me. And I don't know. I think it's a very strange little bit of debris on Mars. Now, we've talked about Mars on this show. I mean, we've got the face on Mars. We have also got the pyramids on Mars. We've got all sorts of weird anomalous structures on Mars. And I have seen a very detailed lecture. It was about an hour-long lecture where the scientist was analyzing traces of radioactivity and so on in the Martian soil. And he concluded and built a very, very strong case for the notion that there was some kind of nuclear event on Mars, which, kind of implies a war to those of us who are ExoZone minded. If that's the case, this is very, very strange. And I also have a little bit of I think I'll stop that and bring back up the chat. Although, actually, this is just going to stay up on the Harvey Zone. There's no need for me to pull it. So the chat will be just there anyway. And as far as, did any of our stuff fall there, says Hecate's daughter. What, on Mars? I don't know. However, what I do know is that now this is a very, very interesting piece of news. This is recent news, folks. Recent news, talking about, that could just be a rock, that could just be this or that. Well, 3 days ago, this article appeared across the world, but this particular one I've pulled up is from The Independent. And the headline reads, multiple water bodies found under the surface of Mars. Multiple water bodies found under the surface of Mars, folks. This is not fake news. This is not woo-woo. This is real. Several liquid bodies have been found under the south pole of Mars, according to a major new study. The findings give extra credence to previous research that suggested there could be a large saltwater lake underneath the Martian surface, the researchers claim, and also led to them discovering a number of other wet areas. The findings could be key in the search for alien life on the planet, the researchers note, given life as we know it requires liquid water to survive.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it. Not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it, Jim.
Thank you for contributing that, Harvey.
Am I going to be replacing Gary anytime soon?
No,
Asshole.
but I digress. So they will also, these findings of water, be key to planetary protection work that ensures that humanity doesn't contaminate other planets with life from Earth during missions to explore them. The researchers call for future work to better examine Mars, its chemistry, and whether there might be any traces of what they call astrobiological activity, or, as a layman might know it, alien life. Now, this discovery was made using MARSIS, or the Mars Advanced Radar for Subsurface and Ionosphere Sounding, which is on board the Mars Express spacecraft sent by the European Space Agency to orbit around Mars. The instrument sends radar pulses that can penetrate the surface and ice caps of Mars. They can then be measured as they bounce back toward the spacecraft, allowing researchers to delve into the planet without actually touching it. Now, this is interesting here. In 2018, folks, researchers using that instrument announced they had found a vast lake beneath the surface of Mars, hailing it as a major breakthrough in the search for alien life on the planet. But the study was also questioned by experts who wondered whether the scientists had gathered enough detail on the nature of the body to know for sure whether it was a body of liquid water. In the new study, researchers led by, well, and it just, what the hell just happened? I tell you, there is all sorts of insanity going on here.
Harvey!
All right. Researchers using that instrument announced they had found a vast lake beneath the surface of Mars, hailing it as a major breakthrough in the search for alien life on the planet. But the study was also questioned by experts who wondered whether the scientists had gathered enough detail on the nature of the body to know for sure whether it was a body of liquid water. So in the new study, researchers led by Elena Pettinelli from Roma Tre University used techniques borrowed from Earth satellites to study the lakes beneath Antarctic glaciers. By doing so, they were able to analyze data from MARSIS that examined a huge array around the body they had found on Mars. That allowed them to confirm that it was liquid. They were also able to find other patches separated from the main body by dry areas, which together appear to make up a patchwork of various salty lakes. Not only did we confirm the position, extent, and strength of the reflector from our 2018 study, said Professor Pettinelli, but we found 3 new bright areas. The main lake is surrounded by smaller bodies of liquid water, but because of the technical characteristics of the radar and of its distance from the Martian surface, we cannot conclusively determine whether they are interconnected. The data appears to indicate that the bodies are hypersaline solutions, a brine, in which high concentrations of salt are dissolved in water, which is perhaps the reason they are able to stay liquid despite the very cold conditions of Mars' South Pole. The fact that there is a whole set of lakes suggests that they have probably formed relatively easily, and that versions of them may therefore have been present throughout the history of the planet. If that was the case, then they could have served as home for alien life that flourished when Mars was more easily habitable. And those lakes that are left behind could be a shelter for whatever life is still around.
Dude, that's weird. That kind of creeps me out.
I know. It's very, very weird, Harvey. And I want to know what you folks in the chat think about this. So there is water on Mars. Now, they do believe that it is hypersaline. However, was it always that way? It could have been like ocean water, or it could have been fresh water that was salinated later. We just don't know. But the fact is, Mars's climate used to be more temperate. The fact is there's water on Mars, and was water on Mars because of all the canals, which, you know, there are signs of water erosion on the planet. At least it's believed that that is a plausible explanation for a lot of the erosive features on Mars. And we have structures, such as I was showing before. So, I don't know. It seems to me like there might be stuff on Mars. Bold Mambo says, I say we nuked them from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. I know when I say get out of the pool, damn it, get out of the pool. Rob Alta says, is Gary celebrating Brie Larson's birthday? I don't know. It is possible. Quentin Watts says Martian IV drip. It's possible. Keller Ranch says, I think it's cool, but I think it is also bunk. What, that there's water? That's not bunk. And I showed you the picture. I mean, you might disagree that it's a structure, but I don't think it's necessarily bunk. Or to quote the great Bela Lugosi, supernatural perhaps, baloney perhaps not, which is true. Tecate's daughter says, definitely creeps me out, sweetie. It is weird. It is very, very, very weird. Doom's Cock versus Power Bottom says, ExoZone. Thank you. Hail. Chris Dalglish says, things would float nicely in hyper salty water. Well, that's true. I mean, it could be like a really, 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 really big, sensory deprivation tank down there. In which case, maybe it's the giants. It's the Niflheim that have been referred to on previous broadcasts. And the Kelvington says, pour this drink. Pour this drink. I know. Well, damn. Let's see what the super chats have to say here. Thank you, Kelvington, for the $10 super chat. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Thunder Robots with a $5 super chat. Hail to Thunder Robots says, what if all UFO ships are from the future and the crashed ship's material was just mined from Mars or the moon, explaining why no match can be found? That is possible. I mean, that is one of the hypotheses that these are ships from the future. But look, the weird thing about time travel is it would be simultaneous throughout time. In other words, if anyone at any point could go back in time, they would have. So, and people being what they are, which is basically idiots, and some of them, would be the aforementioned boomers and so on and so forth. They're going to screw up, They're going to, step out looking like, Doc Brown from Back to the Future 2, with his lab goggles and, oh, Marty, there's a lot of stuff going on in the future. And he's going to step out right, when they're taking a picture of Lincoln or, in World War II, and there's going to be this big steaming, DeLorean. And, the shit's going to be out there. So the thing is, I think we'd have proof. I think we'd have ample proof of time travel. And also, wouldn't we just basically be paradoxed out of existence? I mean, I know that, there's the theory that when you jump back in time, you are not jumping to the back of your timeline. You are splitting off into another timeline, another quantum reality. Right. So, I have to say that I'm dubious that time travel exists. I'm very, very dubious. Admin Grumpy Bear says, yes, but what if our normal is the result of multiple people screwing up time travel? Boy, that would explain a lot, wouldn't it? Ha! That would really suck. Demo Man Chaos says time travel happens all the time, just in such minute amounts that people don't notice. The flow of time changes based on speed and gravity. Absolutely. That is the theory of relativity. The relativity part being, of course, time. So actually that leads me to another topic, because we talked about, splitting off alternate realities and so on, which is a fascinating topic for me, frankly. And I want to do a little story here about somebody that has come up with a seemingly foolproof way to test the multiverse hypothesis. However, it is a thought experiment like Schrodinger's cat. which means that it's not really practical to do. But still, I would like to discuss it because it's fascinating, and I think it would. I think it would work. Although I would like to get the opinions of everybody here in chat. I would also like to get Gary's opinion, but alas, he's being probed. So while he endures this unspeakable abomination and an ungodly process, thank you, Charlton Heston. You're welcome. If there is one more probing of Gary, it will be by your hand that God brings it. And there will be so great a cry throughout the land that you will surely let his bottom go. Wow, it's like the 10 Commandments with butt humor.
It's pretty weird.
Well, the ExoZone gets weird when Gary's not around. That's the problem. That's the problem. If Gary's not around, shit's going to get weird around here, goddammit. But let's go ahead and read off a few more super chats, and I'm going to get into that thought experiment, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. So, Dilbertson with a 10-pound super chat. Hail, Dilbertson. It's great to see you, man. Hail to my friend Dilbertson, who says, hail, Doomcock. Greetings to the chat. Curses to Harvey, and rejoice in the return of the ExoZone. Can't stay tonight, but I will be sure to catch up soon. Let high strangeness reign. God bless you, Dilbertson. Thank you for being here tonight. And I'm sorry you could not stay. Maybe we need to start earlier. I don't know. People did say they wanted it at night, though. I think we're going to have at least one segment of ExoZone during the day a month. I think that would be smart, I think that would be good and fair. Zontar with a $5 super chat. Hail Zontar, who says we need more stories like XCOM that embrace the classic gray aliens and flying saucers. Doomcock, check out Isaac Arthur for some optimistic futurism. I will. Thank you, Zontar. I've never heard of Isaac Arthur. However, I am currently playing Destroy All Humans, which exactly fits the bill for what you're calling for, Zontar. Destroy All Humans is pretty funny. It's got basically you are a guy named Crypto. You're a little alien, a little gray, named Crypto, and you're basically trying to retrieve a captured alien on Earth. And so you're flying your saucer down. You're infiltrating. You're using holograms. You're abducting people, throwing cows, etc., and so on. And it's a lot of fun. Wes Moody Webcast with a $2 super chat says, we need Harvey to do a Gary impression. Do it. Oh, dear. Well, thank you, Wes Moody Webcast. Harvey, what do you think?
Hi. I'm Gary, and I used to run a comic book shop. And, not all who wander are lost. And back to you.
That was a shitty impression.
Well, I'm doing the best I can, man. Doing the best I can.
Hail Dilbertson, and God bless. Zontar, thank you. B. Jordan with a $15 super chat. Hail B. Jordan says, I don't know if Harvey fills me with dread like his other more well-known family members. What? But I'm here. Hail Doomcock, Wrenches, Chat, and Harvey. Hail B. Jordan. Thank you, my friend, for the $15. Nerdrotic is here. All right. Outstanding. Hold on. Shit. Hail Gary.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. How are you, brother?
I had it in my head. It started at 7. So I was like in my recording bubble, and I'm like, I look up and I'm like, oh shit, he's live. I must have got the wrong time. So my apologies, everyone. I thought it started at 7.
Oh, that's okay, man. No, like 8 Central, but anyway, dude, it's no problem. I just was worried. We were worried about you, and there were probing jokes going on.
Well, I'm standing up right now. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. That's pretty hard.
I'm sorry, man. Well, I hated to do it, but I waited till about 25 minutes, and I didn't know what to do. So
my apologies. I was like recording my super chat square up. So I was like, when I record, I shut everything down, and I should have checked because Lady Gravemaster was trying to remind me and stuff. So I was like, God damn it. So here I am. Let's talk about some woo-woo. Yeah.
More wizard than wizard. Gary is here. That's great, man. It's good because we've got some weird and cool stuff to talk about tonight. And so I'm really delighted. Man, yeah, and I'm glad everything's fine too. I figured maybe there was a power outage or some shit.
Oh, that could happen. It was 100-something degrees today. So, I mean.
Oh, shit. Are you kidding?
No, it was 102 all day today. Yeah. And when it gets hot in this room, like action figures fall down. It's it should be. You might hear some crashing noises.
Then why? Do they melt a little or?
No, because long story. So I have plaster walls, and I can't put holes in the plaster walls, so I had to put soundproofing all over the walls. These little foam pads, these little squares, and there's oh god, hundreds of them. But I had to. The adhesive sometimes isn't good enough when it gets too hot. When it changes temperature, like a square will fall off once in a while. And each square has like 6 action figures on it, but like sometimes it'll take out like all the Fellowship of the Ring. Sometimes because it's in front of them. Yeah. It's bad.
Oh, dude, that is weird. I'm sorry, man. That must freak you out.
Yeah, it does. Like, well, especially when I'm recording, I hear it. Yeah, it's like, God dang it. And this house could be haunted. Dude. Somebody died in here. Somebody did die. You never know. You never know.
You need to get like an analog tape recorder and see if you can do some, EVP.
Yeah. I remember I tried that in the castle, but I guess I needed an analog tape recorder, not my phone.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think it's something to do with the actual physical medium. I don't know that I've ever heard that it works on digital.
Yeah, I haven't checked either, but it made sense when you explained it to me. I'm like, I should have tried that because I was, when I went to Sicily last year, I was in a castle that was built 800 years ago. It was a creepy castle, like the creepiest castle you could possibly think of. Somebody wanted to get married in, and we stayed in some chamber, and it looked like it was built. They had books just laying around that were from, not 800 years ago, but 500 years ago that you could read. You could just like pick them up. I broke this like 200-year-old vase, and it's like, sorry. Yeah. Because they had this shit like just laying around, and I'm very clumsy, but no ghosts. Unfortunately, I was a little bummed about that, to be honest with you.
Jesus. Wow.
I'm sure.
Well, that would have been something.
Yeah.
That would have been something. Damn, dude. Well, anyway, listen, we're glad you're here, and let's go ahead and move on to one of our weird stories. One of the first things I was talking about, I was showing some ruins on the surface of Mars, and I thought that I might as well just show it to you again, even though we've kind of gone over a little bit. But really, one of the cooler things is getting your reaction. So I think we ought to go ahead and share this with you. Hold on just a sec here. Hold on.
No problem.
Okay. Let's okay, so we've got basically, Martian terrain here.
Yeah.
And you just look at it and it's like, well, it's a lot of rocks, but there are people that go over these rocks, dude. And this little area right here, when we zoom in on it, that's what we see, dude. Yeah. I find that fascinating, and I don't know, what do you think?
That's weird. I mean, okay, sure, something could form that way naturally, but you're looking at the color, and you're not too sure about the color, but it's most definitely different. And those ridges, right? On the one on the right, it looks like it could be okay. A couple of things, like a Stone Age structure of some kind, sarcophagus, or it almost looks like a truck that has been buried up, that like just in the sand right now, or a vehicle of some kind. It looks off from everything else. And this is just one of the many things we have seen on the surface. And that surface has been barren for millions and millions of years. Yeah. And I totally believe there was life on Mars. I think we came from Mars, personally.
I do too. I mean, I was going on about, the fact that, there's that researcher that believes, due to the radioactive content of the Martian soil, that part of the atmosphere got blown away. And, in a nuclear kind of cataclysm in the past. And I was citing a 3-day-old story talking about that basically there's evidence of water on Mars, a large body of water, multiple water bodies actually found under the surface of Mars, Gary. They have been found under the South Pole of Mars, several liquid bodies. And it is believed that they are large saltwater lakes, which may be connected. These were detected way back in 2018, where researchers were using the MARS-SIS, or Mars Advanced Radar for Subsurface and Ionosphere Sounding. And they had determined with that instrument a vast lake beneath the surface of Mars, which they said was a major breakthrough in the search for alien life on the planet. But study was also questioned by experts who wondered whether the scientists had gathered enough detail on the nature of the water to see, know for sure whether it was actually liquid water or some other kind of structure. But in this new study, a researcher from Roma Tre University used techniques borrowed from Earth satellites to study the lakes beneath Antarctic glaciers. And by doing so, they were able to analyze this data and confirm that it was liquid, definitely liquid. It was there were a number of other patches separated from the main body by dry areas, which make up a patchwork of various salty lakes and so on.
And these lakes are liquid.
Yes.
So they're they're under ice, but they're liquid, or are they frozen?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because they say the main lake is surrounded by smaller bodies of liquid water, but because of the technical characteristics of the radar and of its distance from the Martian surface, we cannot conclusively determine whether these smaller bodies are interconnected. However, the data appears to indicate that the bodies are hypersaline solutions, a brine in which high concentrations of salt are dissolved in water, which is perhaps the reason they're able to stay liquid despite the very cold conditions of Mars's South Pole.
And we haven't sent anything there as far as I don't know if we can, but didn't they just announce that they're sending a new rover over that's specifically, there you go. NASA's newest Mars rover begins its journey to hunt for alien life. So I guess the other rovers, I thought they were sent to look for life too, but they weren't looking specifically for it, for maybe just signs and microbes and stuff. And this is going to be another one that's just specifically looking for it. And I think they'll find it. I think we're close to finding it now. That's crazy. The fact that there's something liquid under a bunch of ice doesn't make sense to me. But I guess, if it's warmer towards the surface, that could make sense. That's a completely separate thing too.
Well, if it's hyper briny too, it might have prevented freezing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the fact that there is water on Mars would suggest that there was water on Mars.
Yeah.
They think that, this could have been present throughout the history of the planet and could have served as a home for alien life that flourished when Mars was more habitable.
And
hence you get like structures like the one that I just showed you.
yeah, and there's probably so much more. I mean, just look at the surface of Mars. As far as like the rocks, in some areas they go, it's not always like this, but the rocks everywhere.
Mhm.
It busted up pieces of rocks. What happened? I mean, rocks don't just break. They don't form that way. They something has to happen to them, geologically speaking. There still is volcanic activity. There's that giant gash on the side. What caused that?
Mhm.
Again, could it have formed that way? Could it have been water, or did something hit the planet? It's too weird of a planet not to try to figure out. And there's been so many stories already, and God, we see stuff like that, and all the other stuff we've seen. And you gotta praise the patience of the people who find this stuff too.
Oh my God, I know. Going through that terrain like that is insane.
And how do they catch this?
I mean, you'd have to look at with a magnifying glass or something. Now, I saw a version of this picture where I tried to grab it. I thought I had, but I didn't in all the confusion. But it was reddish. It was reddish, kind of like the rest of the terrain.
Yeah.
So, this has been somewhat color enhanced to make it stand out a little bit, but still look at the structure on it. I mean, look at like this edge, then it looks beveled there.
Yep.
Goes down beveled. Isn't that weird?
That's very weird. And that looks like one of those big stone sarcophagi that's in Egypt. Those God, what's the name of that stone? It's a special kind of stone. I forgot. It's not
a rolling stone.
It's a rolling stone, but it's
basalt.
It's not basalt. It's really freaking hard, and it's polished rose granite. Wow. It looks like one of those. Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy. That is so cool. I love it when you find stuff like this.
No, it's really amazing. And so we have water, we have the face on Mars, we have hypotheses, from guys like, doesn't Sinchen believe that Martians settled on Earth at some point, or is that somebody else?
Planet. I think it was that guy who thought there was a war. I'm forgetting his name.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That he analyzed the Martian surface with the radiation and stuff. Yeah.
Sitchin, it kind of goes off of I always forget the Russian guy's name.
Velikovsky.
That something Sitchin thinks it's the 12th planet. Velikovsky thinks a giant comet or something came through. Something really bad happened to this solar system a long time ago. We have planets on their side. We have Venus. We have Mars. Something happened. We have our planet, which has obviously gone through multiple cataclysms, multiple ice ages. The moon is completely bizarre. Everything about the moon is bizarre. It's almost engineered. There's something happened. Whether we find out or not, I have no idea. But I love that.
Apex Tyrannus in the chat is saying Dr. Brandenburg, my physics college professor. He was the one.
Oh wow, that's Dr. Brandenburg. You knew the guy, huh?
Yeah, apparently Apex Tyrannus knew him.
Yeah, wow. He's a cool dude. I saw a big long interview with him on YouTube just a couple of months ago. It was one of the Gaia interviews. No, it was George Norrie interviewing him. So he's all, oh, that's neat. Golly, fucking George Norrie's terrible. It's awful.
Oh yeah, he really is. He'd say that's really neat.
Uh-huh.
Vincent Paul Spector in the chat says the geography teacher from my high school was one of the people who did analysis on the face on Mars. Don't believe the crappy photos where they try to say, oh, it was just shadows, no face here.
Yeah, I don't. I think, I mean, obviously it's weathered, but that whole area is bizarre. You know, it looks like there's pyramids around there too. That's why it's called Sedona. That's around the face of Mars, right? It's the Sedona region where there's the 5-sided pyramid or something like that.
Yes.
It's always, but this is probably like the second most interesting thing to me. I mean, beside from ancient civilizations, is what we found on the moon and Mars. I dig this stuff. Mike Barra, who can be out there sometimes, is really good at finding this stuff. I think a lot of people send it to him as well, but he used to be an engineer, a structural engineer. So he knows how to pick this stuff out. And that's why it was, and I went to 2 of his lectures at Contact in the Desert, and they were great. And and I have trouble finding some of the pictures he found because they're not all available. And you said, there's that red tint. Sometimes that's NASA making Mars look red when it really, Mars looks like the Mojave Desert in some pictures. I mean, it's got a blue sky and the dirt is brown. And it's red in some areas because the planet is rusting. I think the moon is rusting as well. And I mean, you can't trust what you get from NASA at all. And I don't know why, honestly. I mean, that's their purpose, their sole purpose, or maybe it's not. Maybe that's just what we're told.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is very strange, and I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but I'm glad that I got to show you these things. I think it's fascinating that the two, I kind of stumbled across the two at the same time, and I suspect that there are many, many strange things on the surface of Mars, and I think if I had to bet, I would bet that there was life there at one time or another.
Yep.
Apex Tyrannus says, I'm not convinced. Well, I don't know, dude. Gary, what do you think?
As far as being absolutely convinced, I'm not like 100% convinced. I am fully in the, I think there was life there. I'm convinced there was life there, but as far as like structures and what I'm seeing, I'm never 100% convinced, but it looks pretty close. It looks pretty strange. But I've seen strange natural structures too. If you go to, God, what's it called? If you go to the Badlands of South Dakota, the Badlands of North Dakota, the Badlands of New Mexico, you will see strange stuff like these giant pillars, and they all have petrified wood on top, and it almost looks like that somebody placed the petrified wood on top of these pillars, but supposedly it happened naturally somehow through gradualism. But it's really bizarre looking. So I mean, there are bizarre natural Devil's Tower, looks like a giant tree stump, doesn't it? I mean, it looks like a giant tree stump.
But I don't know, man. Not like that. I mean, they actually did call that the sarcophagus on the site where I grabbed those pictures from.
Yeah.
And then you spontaneously said, yeah, it looks kind of like a sarcophagus, and or a buried train, or it's definitely strange.
It's really strange.
And and with all the other weird things, I don't know. Oh, Admin Grumpy Bear, are you going? Because I know that you had left a super chat. Hold on just a sec, man. Hold on just a sec. Please let me know if you have to go, folks. If you've left a super chat, because I don't like to leave them unread. So hold on just a sec, folks. Let's see. I know I saw, yes, Admin Grumpy Bear with a $50 super chat. Hail Admin Grumpy Bear, dude, don't leave. Admin Grumpy Bear says the ExoZone, not afraid to ask the probing questions. Bit of wisdom. When smart people do unexplainably stupid things, you don't know what they are really up to. This is true. This is true. Sometimes people are just stupid. I know I'm stupid regularly. And I'm fairly smart, but I'm also do really stupid things that I can't explain
All the time. You know,
all the time.
it's ingrained because we're imperfect beings, and it's okay. I that's why I don't strive for perfection. I'm okay with just getting by sometimes, considering.
Oh, I know, man. Look, I know that I am very imperfect, and I'm the first one to admit it. And I do stupid things that I mean well, but stupidity happens from time to time, unfortunately.
But Kelvin made an effing career of being stupid.
Yeah, I know. But I'm trying not to be in the circus or anything,
Yeah.
But Admin Grumpy Bear, God bless you. Not afraid to ask the probing questions. This, of course, was when we were joking about, maybe you being probed. Which we thought maybe you got, whisked up like in Destroy All Humans and popped up there.
Do you ever really know if you're getting probed, though? I mean, you don't.
Well, if they do it right, you do.
If they do it right, you definitely do.
That's right.
Wes Moody Webcast with a $2 super chat. Hail Wes Moody Webcast says, no, not Gary. Come back, Gary. Gary is here. And would you undergo hypnotic regression so we know if indeed you were really doing your super chat square up, or is that a cover memory that the aliens put over your head?
It might be, you never know. But I would totally do that. The hypnotic.
That's good.
Yeah.
Admin Grumpy Bear says, yeah, usually the motivations are hidden. Good night, sir. See you all tomorrow night. Good night, Admin Grumpy Bear. And thank you for being here, brother.
Good night.
And yeah, man, I tell you, we've got Rob Altus here with a $5 super chat, who is saying, just use the super space modulator to contact Gary. I just thought to look in the mirror and say, Gary Beekler, Gary Beekler, Gary Beekler 3 times. And he appeared. So it actually worked. Lawrence Martin, thank you for the fist pumping super pair. Really appreciate it, Lawrence. Nicholas Horton with a £5 super chat. Hail, Nicholas Horton says, hail, Doomcock. A perfect subject for the ExoZone would be conspiracies, the blank contagion, Well, yeah, perfect for getting you kicked off of YouTube. But unfortunately, we'd rather avoid that, wouldn't we, Gary?
We would. And I would love to talk about it. It'd be great to talk about it, but we can't. See, it's perfectly okay for YouTubers to get caught rioting and looting, and they'll be on the platform. But if we, just tell some stories to each other, we'll get in trouble. So that's the way it is.
Absolutely. Jub in the chat is saying DC is proving everyone's ears and brain. Does that mean like probing? Is that what you're saying? Does that mean my mic is not sounding good or something? Or is that just a joke? Let me know if my mic sounds bad. I'll see if I can do anything about it. I don't know. And Captain Spire with a $2 super chat. Hail, Captain Spire says, I will settle for flying cars at this point. Flying cars would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Of course, as many people as have wrecks in regular cars. Boy, can you just imagine the accidents like the little old lady from Pasadena would have flying a car? Wouldn't that be bad?
That would be probably pretty bad. I mean, we're having a hard time with the driverless cars, which I would take a flying car over a driverless car any day.
I would too. Driverless, yeah, that's not good. So let's actually move on to a different topic. The thing that I kind of was gonna lead with. This is a weird one. Gary, have you ever heard of Bill Uhouse?
No, I haven't.
I have not either. But and I tried Googling this guy and couldn't find very much stuff about him, just on some videos and stuff. But apparently, Bill Uhouse, which is spelled Uhose, is a 71-year-old retired engineer who has stated multiple times throughout his career that if he actively worked for Area 51 in the past. And in his most recent interviews, he stated that he was present when they actually brought up an alien that was being detained there. Now, the fact that I haven't heard much about this guy is interesting to me. But I got to tell you, dude, I want to make sure this isn't okay. I got to tell you, there is a video on YouTube that this guy has provided, and I think I'll just show you. You know, I did some screen grabs of it. I mean, I don't know if I should show the whole video. I mean, I've got the link to it, but hold on. I'm gonna pop this up and see what you think, because when I look at the video, this is very weird and impressive. So check. This is something I had never seen before, never heard of before. This is a screen grab from the video. So this is like on, you know, you can tell, like really crappy VHS type video. Do you see some, like, there's like video pulling and artifacts and stuff. You see these engineers on top of the thing. This is all in motion, and they are working on this thing. And it is claimed that this is an actual UFO from S4, or, you know, as it's commonly called, Area 51. Have you ever seen this before?
No, I have never seen this before. This is the first time
This
ever.
This is weird. That is like another shot that I don't know is the same thing. But look, this is a less clear frame grab of this footage. That's a big thing to hoax.
That's it's big. You know, God, you never know these days, because you can
you don't
do from I could do from my computer. The only thing I ever ask is, like, why do you do it? That's the first thing, is like, did he monetize the video? If he didn't monetize it, I mean, is this is he, you know, trying to get a job? Who knows? But does that,
well, our resident expert, the Kelvington, says this has been around for a while, and that's some shitty CGI. You can see the cloning. Well, this is why I want to run this, first of all. Okay, so the Kelvington is unimpressed by this and says this has been around. Now, I had never seen this before.
I've never seen it,
and I wanted to get everybody's opinion on it. And well, we happen to have a guy here who's an editor and knows some stuff about special effects. So that may be completely and totally fake. Master Farce Theater says it's a fake. It's real. It's a fake. It's real. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. And we got the actual video, but I don't know, like I said, if I can run it or not, Gary. But I just thought I would show it to you. Now, this one looked fake to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It was this footage that was interesting, but the Kelvington is unconvinced.
Yeah.
The Kelvington says this came out in 2018.
2018. Okay.
Mira J, can you make it bigger on the screen? Maybe. Let's see. Yeah. So I can do the same on the other one. We're doing an investigation here.
The guys,
All right.
they were added into me. Their positions don't look.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that guy.
It's hard to tell because it's so low res, but
He's really well lit in a dark area for one.
mhm.
I didn't do any special effects. I was just a basic editor. So, but that looks really well lit. And if you look at the light hitting that, whatever this is right here, and then it's not hitting this dude the same way, they look pretty close. On the right, the guy on the right,
This guy?
yeah, he looks very well lit on his right hand side, which he shouldn't be, because of this, that whatever this pillar or box or whatever the hell it is,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
And then there's some kind of artifacting or something behind this, the guy on the left, and that could be video. I mean, if it's from a shitty video, that you can artifact on shitty video. So, but
Yes.
then we want to look at the shadows. Okay. So,
Right.
shadow is okay to there, but then it's not okay here. So,
I think that one looks a little darker
yeah.
than that one. I don't know. Yeah, and also that one going that way seems like the light, it would maybe be making it go that way or that way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Star Trek Discovery special effects there with the lens flare making you look, blowing you out right there, because they did that a bunch in the first episode of us.
Right.
Discovery.
Well, it looks to me then like the verdict is in, and there's a reason we haven't heard of Mr. U-House, because it's not real.
I have never heard of that guy.
Me either. That's why I wanted to go ahead and pop this up here. But you know what? We have amateur sleuths here and special effects professionals and seekers of wisdom and truth. And sometimes when you seek wisdom and truth, you find BS. So
Okay.
I'm glad. But it's so sad that there's so many hoaxers out there, isn't it?
It fucks everything up. It does. And, it's like if you did it for profit or something, at least I'd understand that. I mean, for shits and giggles, it doesn't do any good. And then, as the government throwing a bunch of shit out there, I think at one time they were. Right now, I don't think they need to.
Mhm.
Right now, I think the government doesn't have to waste any resources with disinformation because the ufology community is doing it to themselves. So, as far as government agents infiltrating UFO, which they were. I mean, we knew this.
Oh, yeah.
They've come out and said it. I don't think why would they do it now? They would have no reason to do it now at all. It's tough. It's a tough sell. Even with the government coming out and saying they have their own stuff, people aren't believing it. So, I mean, there's people who are just not going to believe, and that's fine. And the aliens will have to probe them awake.
No, that's true. Somebody made the point in here, Ron Harris, which is something I thought, UFOs would not have wheels. But the thing is, folks, what I was thinking that this might possibly be a one of ours, like built based on their kind of technology. I mean, I didn't think that this was actually an alien craft. I thought that this might have been actually something that we were working on based on that stuff. But, or even just like just to kind of like one of these, like the flying flapjack. Remember that from like the 50s?
Yeah.
Where it was basically like they were trying different shapes of things. No, I didn't think that this was alien, though. It didn't look right. But
I mean, that did look
but
right.
This is crap.
If you listen to what Bob Lazar has said in the past, he said he equated the sports model that they were looking at specifically as, imagine dropping a motorcycle in the desert in the 1800s. And, guys could probably figure out how to turn it on, maybe.
Right.
They don't know how to do much more than that. And I could totally see us finding a way to flip the thing on and we don't know how to land it because it hovers or something and we fasten some freaking wheels on it, sure, we would. Absolutely. Now I don't think that one was real, but we most certainly would attach something to it if we barely knew what we were doing, which is probably the case with that. And that's what Bob Lazar said, like they'll probably never crack the code of what they have. Which
right.
You think about it, if there's a race that's even just a few hundred years ahead of us, we're not going to figure that shit out, much less 1,000 or a couple thousand.
No, yeah, I don't think so, man. So the consensus here is that this is fake.
Yeah.
But I do believe Bob Lazar, folks.
Oh,
I do believe Bob Lazar. There is no doubt in my mind that Bob Lazar is the real deal and that what he said is true. I mean, don't you think that, Gary?
I agree.
So this Bill Uhouse guy is an entirely different kettle of fish. Now, the Kelvington says you can find a Bill Uhouse video from 2013 where he just talks about Area 51 under the title of Re-engineering an ET Craft. I think this video with the UFO is an artist's rendering. So it might have been them trying to illustrate what he was talking about, but might not be Bill Uhouse per se trying to hoax anyone. Okay. Well, interesting. Turdo Tanker in the chat says Element 115 in Area 51 was exposed by Bob Lazar before anyone knew they existed. Yep. This is true. Didn't George Knapp basically break the Area 51 story with Lazar?
Yes.
Am I mistaken on that?
No, it was through George Knapp and John Lear. John Lear introduced Knapp to Lazar.
Mm-hmm.
And Knapp's the one who broke that. And I remember when it happened, dude. I remember when that broke the news. There's Bill Uhouse right there. I'm just looking at a video. Oh, he's in Mesquite, Nevada. That was.
Huh.
I've been to Mesquite. There you go.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Should have gone knocked on his door, but we didn't know about him.
Didn't know about him back then. Yeah. Bob Lazar is a real deal. Absolutely. That documentary, that Corbell documentary, which is filled with a bunch of fluff, still had some interesting things in it and some new stuff, which I didn't think we would get. And the Rogan interview I thought was really good as well. I don't know.
Yes.
That was really good. But he comes out once in a while and he'll tell his story, and then we won't hear from Bob Lazar for a couple of years, 3 years. I remember he's been on Art Bell 4 times. He was on Art Bell 4 or 5 times, and it was all years apart. And every time Art was like, "I'm really sorry. I brought you back. We know you don't like to talk about the stuff." And he goes, "Well, yeah." And then he tells us.
How do you say no to Art Bell? Yeah. I don't know how you do it.
He's kind of a patron saint. We were channeling him earlier, by the way. But he's always here, always hovering around the ExoZone in one form or another. Mexican Iron Man is here with a $24.99 super chat. Hail to the Mexican Iron Man, who says, and this may interest you, Gary, perhaps the disappearance of Mayan, Peruvian, and ancient native kingdoms of the Americas is solved. Ancient aliens abducted my people to transport water and left us/them there. Mystery solved. What does Art Bell think?
I think that you may be on to something, Mexican Iron Man, and I would not discount your native wisdom in these matters.
Gary, the disappearance of the Mayan, Peruvian, and ancient native kingdoms of the Americas. What do you know about that? Anything off the top of your head? I know you've read a lot about this stuff.
Well, it was often thought to be a pandemic, possibly.
That's what I've thought.
That's it. That it was probably a pandemic brought over by the Spanish, because there was, I forgot the guy's name. He was a Spaniard, obviously.
Cortez,
the guy who traveled the entire Amazon, because they're idiots. They went to go in their boat to go get some food or something. I'm barely remembering this, and they ended up going down the entire Amazon because they couldn't turn around. And their story was that when they were going across the Amazon, they saw city after city that was filled with people, like just, it was populous. And then within a couple of years, everybody was dead.
Oh God.
Now that's the historical, probably the more practical approach to it. It could be something much weirder than that. But they're all new. Everybody was new here. We don't know how they got here, though. We're finding out more every day that, sure, some people came through over the land bridge, through Alaska and down through that corridor in the ice. But we're also finding out that people were here for hundreds of thousands of years, or 100,000 years to be exact. They found somebody, or they found signs of it on mammoth bones in San Diego here when they were digging up a freeway. So, yeah.
Wow.
Who knows what happened to him, though? But I think that was probably the case. I'm not sure if it was aliens or not. I think the aliens were I think aliens have been visiting for a long, long time. But as far as our ancient civilizations and stuff, I like watching Ancient Aliens, but I think it was just us. It was some other civilization that was doing that stuff.
Yeah, I think that explains a lot. We've also got in the chat here, Diego Flores. It says, I am Peruvian. I can explain for Peru because there are records of the death tolls due to smallpox and the brutal civil war before the Spaniards came.
Yep.
So yeah, so I think that makes a lot of sense.
Burned most of anything that was written down too. There is some stuff that survived, but yeah, they honestly, what the white folks did when they came over here wasn't great, believe me, but got nothing on those Spaniards down there. Woo, it was bad. And a lot of it was accidental too. It wasn't, they listen, they wanted the gold. They wanted the gold. There was gold everywhere down there.
Yeah.
And it was just everywhere. Stupid with gold.
Stupid with gold. The place is lousy with gold. I'm telling you,
it is. And they're mapping the Amazon now, and God, they're finding all kind. They're finding cities that had, 60,000. They somewhere around 60,000 people per city. I get that's a huge population for an ancient population, especially a repopulation. Remember again that they found this one tribe in the middle of the Amazon that has Polynesian DNA, or not DNA, but they're part Polynesian in the middle of the Amazon, and nobody else was. So it's really bizarre. And then Forrester has come out. He's been going crazy because of the Coof, Brian Forrester, but they did some DNA on his elongated skulls. And they found something very interesting, that a lot of they shared some common DNA with people from the Black Sea. And there's where else in the world can you find elongated skulls? We're right near the Black Sea. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. So the people were traveling the globe. They were globe trotting back in the day.
So I always thought that those elongated skulls were some kind of binding or something technique. Are you saying that this may have been the actual natural shapes of their heads?
Some of them, yes. That's what they're trying to say. Because when you bind the skull, I forgot what they're called. It's like suture. Is that what it's called? I mean, listen, kicked out 3 eye skulls, but that little crack that goes.
Right. Yeah.
Some of them don't have it.
Oh man.
Flat out don't have it. Now, I don't know how a woman would give birth to that. Jesus Christ. But they also had little babies with it. And yes, they did cradle headboarding. And there's all
Jesus.
kinds of it in Egypt, but why in the fuck would you do that? What made you think of doing that? And it had to be based on something. They wanted to emulate something, and maybe there was a race of people who had their skulls like that, and they were somehow smarter. I don't know, or they were just considered because they looked like that. They were considered godly, or and maybe it was a different a mutation of some kind. Who knows? We don't know. We only know what we found in the ground, right? And we've got Lucy and all those others, which are impartial skeletons, and people have to die a specific way to be found. And the way we humans roam the earth, most of the time, our bones get scattered, picked to death by bugs, and I'm talking about before we were burying each other and putting each other in mounds and stuff. We just died. We just went somewhere and died, and then nature took care of the rest. So you'd have to fall in some mud or something to be found, millions of years later. And there's not a ton of us, to be, you would think there would be more. And there's that whole missing link thing too.
Yeah. Damn, that's so weird. God, the idea that people would do that and bind skulls. And then if there are in fact skulls, like you're saying, without sutures. I mean, is this true? I mean, have you seen the pictures?
Yeah. Now could they have faked the skull? Sure. But, Diego's in Peru. There's a beach. It's not a beach. It looks like a beach. Sorry. There's a part of the desert in Peru where Forrester took, what the hell? What? God damn, I'm so bad with names. He's a religious guy. He does the movies. L.A. Marzulli. Did a couple of, and he's doing stuff now. So he does stuff with Brian Forrester, and Forrester took Marzulli to this area in the desert in Peru where there's just bones everywhere, just fracking everywhere, just laying around. And there's all these elongated skulls. Now this property is private. It's owned. You can't, you can, if you ask the guy permission or pay him, he probably lets you take some away. But yeah, you can, let me see if I can pull up a picture of this.
Oh God. Yeah, that would be great. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, Keller Ranch has, very, very generously done some massive super chatting here. So I would like to go ahead and read this while you're doing this. Keller Ranch with $177.60 super chat of great patriotism. Hail Keller Ranch. God bless you, my friend. That is an incredibly generous super chat. And he says, Nerdrotic, hail, and you are a wizard. You arrive when you mean to. So he is in your corner, on your side, 110%. And we were just all glad that it was just a screw up. I should have known it was just a screw up, but I didn't. But anyway, man, listen, thank you so much for that super chat, brother. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. So did you, let's see. So you're looking for that?
Still looking for it.
Okay, hold on. I will read a few more then. I will vamp while we peruse this. Mexican Iron Man, God bless you, sir, and thank you very much for the $24.99 super chat. And
I want to thank your people for transporting water so very well all of these many centuries. East of the Rockies, we have Dirigo Duke with a $1.99 super chat. Hail Dirigo Duke, who says, seen beer bug predictive programming in 2017 Asterix. No, I have not. But I tell you, that predictive programming stuff is really, really bizarre because, I mean, my God, before 9/11, the Lone Gunman pilot episode had a plot of a plane crashing into the Twin Towers in New York in order to stage a coup or some kind of thing.
And that was only like, I mean, that's so damn weird. And it wasn't that long before it actually happened. So, I mean, these things definitely happen. And I don't know what it is or if it's just a synchronicity with the universe. I don't know. But it's a very strange thing, Dirigo Duke. And thank you for that super chat. And I guess we'll look into that. That's weird. If anyone knows anything about that, shoot me a link. Concentration camp in Brisbane with a $14.99 super chat. And hail to all of my Australian friends out there. I'm sorry that you guys are super, super locked down, but courage, folks. It will get better. And James, he says, James Fox's documentary, The Phenomenon, will be available digitally worldwide to watch on October 6th, 2020. Will you be discussing this on the ExoZone? I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about James Fox's documentary or what The Phenomenon is. Concentration camp in Brisbane. Does anybody in the chat know, or Gary, do you know?
No.
I don't know what it is. But hail concentration camp in Brisbane. We will look, I guess we'll see what it is. And if it's worthy of discussion, yeah, we'll definitely stay on it. I mean, that's ExoZone. That's kind of what we're going to be doing. Jaron Kuchta with a $5 super chat. Hail Jaron Kuchta, who says, hail Harvey and our mighty overlord. Thoughts on the age of the Sphinx from Graham Hancock, suggesting it and civilization are much older than 12,000 years. I have heard this. And I don't know about the evidence. I haven't studied it like I'm sure Gary has, but I think in general, Graham Hancock knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, if he says that, I think it's at least a strong possibility. Gary, do you know anything about the Sphinx being much older than 12,000 years?
Oh, yes, I do. It's anywhere from 12,000 to 25,000 years old, according to Robert Schoch, because they dug a giant area around it, and the erosion is water erosion, and it hasn't rained significantly in that area for 5,000 to 10,000 years.
Right.
And they, according to Robert Schoch, a geologist, that erosion is old, and it took years for it to happen that way. And you can go find there's videos that he did a Joe Rogan interview. Go watch Robert Schoch's Joe Rogan interview. Robert Schoch is really into Easter Island. He's like the Easter Island guy, and he's got some pretty interesting things to say about that. God dang it! Why can't I find this one? Is it Watchers?
That's okay. Hold on. Well, I would love to see it. Just I'll take a few more minutes and do a few more super chats, and if you can find it, great. If not, God, there's limits to what a man can do, even a wizard.
L.A. Marzulli comes at things from a very Christian, biblical point of view, but he's still, his Watcher series is pretty good. It's got some major woo in it, but he also does alien, like in the Watcher series, he does alien implants, ancient civilizations, Nephilim, giants, everything. I mean, it's entertaining. It's entertaining. I like it. So I think it was Watchers. He's done like 10 of them. So yeah, keep doing super chats. I'll find it.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. We've got Lost Hope with a $2 super chat. Hail Lost Hope, who says Gary is loving the probe a bit too much. I doubt he's loving it. I bet he was pinned down and thrashing and cursing them in an eldritch language that he had forgotten he knew, which unleashes a whole lot of questions about his ultimate background, his true age, which may be eons. He may be actually one of the the Eternals, like the Highlander. There can only be one, and maybe Gary's it. I don't know. Thank you, Lost Hope. And I'm just glad Gary is here. Vincent Paul Spector with a $5 super chat. Hail, my friend, says, how do we know this is the real Gary? Can't you tell? Those dulcet tones. Who else sounds like Gary? Who else has the knowledge of the Sphinx? I believe it's Gary. I believe it's 100% Gary. And, but of course, if he doesn't show up on camera in the next several days, then we may have a Paul is dead situation like Abbey Road.
You could.
I do have a picture of you walking on a crosswalk for ExoZone that somebody did.
There I am. It's me.
Oh, there he is.
It's not like my audio's off sync though. I don't know.
Oh, that was scary. That was scary. Well, but I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna believe it and buy into it because you know what? The alternative is too terrifying to contemplate.
It really is.
Deep fake Gary. Oh my God, fooled us. And meanwhile, there are people in S4 that are rubbing their hands together and saying, "Excellent, excellent. If we have been able to fool the ExoZoners and Doomcock, soon we will inherit the earth." So, I hope that's not the case. Hail Vincent Paul Spector, and thank you for spreading paranoia, which is awesome. Dalek 451 with a £2 super chat. Hail Dalek 451 who says, "Hail Doomcock. Guess what? 1st October is my birthday. It is Dalek 451's birthday. Exterminate, exterminate. Hail Dalek 451 and happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dalek 451. Gosh, are you going to exterminate? If you do, could you push that toilet plunger right on my button? Because, I would like to join in the rampage, join in the fun. I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't, but thank you, Dalek 451, and congratulations and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dalek 451. Happy birthday to you. And Timothy Wolf with a super sticker of a very happy face, looking enthused about Dalek 451's birthday, which is absolutely fantastic. And Breaker, a.k.a. Brakir, the gifter of amazing Scotch whiskey. Hail Breaker. $5 super chat says, "I'm sorry, but my Twitter got banned. You can find me on Parler with the same AT." Well, hail Breaker, what the hell? What happened, man? Send me an email, would you? DictorVanDoomcock@gmail.com and let me know what's going on, will you please? And Breaker also with a $1.99 super sticker. Hail Breaker, who says it's got an onset chair there. Hail Breaker, and God bless you, my friend. And I'm sorry to hear that. Breaker with a $2 super chat says, "Find me on Parler." I knew what you were saying. I corrected it. You didn't have to super chat me again with a correction. I got you, Breaker. We're mentally on the same level, man. But thank you for all those super chats, brother. And Nicholas Horton with a £2 super chat. Hail Nicholas Horton says, "Glad you're okay, Gary. 102. That's hot. That is damn hot, dude. Jesus, that's terrible."
Yeah, it's pretty. It was dry heat though.
It was a
dry heat. That's what they say.
Oh my God.
Damn. Was it? I am really. I found all the Watchers series. But yeah, is it this one? Maybe. Here, I'll show you. Let me share a picture of you of the skull. I got a picture.
Sure, absolutely.
And I will share that with you. And it'll be one of the ones without the suture.
Man, that is weird.
I'm pretty sure it's this. Yeah. So that one right up front. So there's no and some have them, and then it's the one in the back. You can't really see, but not every skull has these. And just go ahead and dig through Brian Forrester's channel on YouTube, or check out L.A. Marzulli's The Watchers, which I think you can rent on Amazon Prime for $4.99, or you can find them probably on Vimeo for free. I guess that would be or Daily Motion, and watch them. They're really interesting. They talk about some fun subjects. They go really woo woo. L.A. Marzulli, he's not like fundamental when it comes to the Christians, but he's big on the Nephilim. He's like big on like giants existed and there was a Nephilim, and I think there might have been there could have been a giant. And now when I say giants, now sometimes he says like 30, 40 feet tall. I don't believe that. I think our giants were like 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall, maybe 10 at the most, but mostly, just like a basketball team. But back then people weren't that tall, but there were, there's so many articles from the early, late 1800s and early 1900s, right? When we were going across America and mid 1800s, but when we were getting more and more to the West and we were pillaging all the mounds, there was mounds ancient America has been wiped off the face of the planet pretty much. Graham Hancock goes over it in his last book pretty well. But if you follow a channel called, he's a cool channel. He's pretty low key. And I want to get his name right. And it is where okay. So it's CF, but it's basically CFAPS 765, and he does an Ancient America series. He's one of those guys who he's a Google Maps dude. And there's a whole group of these people. There's thousands of them who just go over Google Maps, like that's their hobby all day. They like with Mike Barra, or what people do with the Mars stuff. They get on Google Maps and they look for weird shit. And honestly, archaeology has come so far now with obviously with satellite photography, but now we can have amateur archaeology done from your own home if you just want to spend 3 hours a day combing over the deserts of Egypt. This guy just did it. I couldn't find it before. I might be able to find it now. He did a video about 2 months ago where there is a bunch of meteor craters in the south of Egypt that I've never heard of. I don't know. Have you ever heard of? I haven't. No. Yeah, there's a bunch of craters there that a lot of people didn't know about. And there is there was the early kingdom for Egypt and then the newer kingdom. And there's a big gap in all of their writings. And there was some kind of a cataclysm, and they think it was a meteor strike in 5,000 years ago or so. Multiple small meteors like showered and hit Egypt, and it looks like that was the case. Yeah, and it's Jesus. Bizarre, and you find all this stuff out. And look, this isn't even woo woo. It's just the more we find out, our history is completely wrong. Like it's just wrong. And in every way, we almost have to scrap it and start over. And that's why people like us and Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson will meet so much resistance that there's a lot of people who've worked a long time on hypotheses that might just be wrong, fundamentally flawed based on bad information. So, which as a scientist, it sucks. You worked hard on something, but you're employed. You get to start over and spend another 10 years on something. So,
yeah. No, man, that's absolutely true. Look, scientists should want to discover the truth no matter what it is. And I think that a good scientist is passionately committed to that pursuit. And when it turns out that their hypothesis was wrong, it can, they are still human. It can still have a bad emotional impact, but ultimately science is served by failures as well as by successes. And, at least here on the ExoZone, we're committed to truth, aren't we, Gary? We try.
It's fun to try to figure it out anyway. It's the journey, right, Doomcock? It's all
It is. It really is the journey. But I'm really glad you found that picture. That is.
It's
Wow.
cool. And this area in the desert, I wish I could have found it, was absolutely filled with bones. There was bones everywhere. And they're all bleached. So because of the environment there, it's not going to harm the bones at all. And they're picked clean. And yeah, they're perfectly bleached by the sun and they're just left alone. And I was telling the story last time. I was, I do my fair share of dicking around on Google Maps, and I found a museum in the middle of Peru that has fossils out in the middle of the desert that are 10 million years old, back when Peru was under the water, right? And you think about it, you think about how much our land moves. So think about this. Okay, the Yellowstone caldera. I know I'm going all over the place, but follow me on this one.
Oh, no, that's fine. Go
The
there.
Yellowstone caldera used to be in Oregon. It used to be Oregon. So the caldera, the flaw in the earth or whatever it is, the crust has gone over it. So if you look at the caldera, it has moved from Oregon to Montana now. That's where but the earth has moved. And it's multiple calderas, but it's from the same source. You know what I mean? So over the years, that thing has moved from Oregon to Montana. And it's crazy. That's because the earth's crust is moving, and it's always moving. And so think about, if we have millions and millions and millions of years we don't know about, a human civilization could have risen and fallen 1,000 times that we wouldn't know about it at all, because there is ground that we'll never see. Now, there is areas we will, like the Badlands and stuff, that are millions and millions of years old, and we can see them because of the erosion and earth movements. But Antarctica, that was a fertile place. It was tropical. It had forests, pine trees, and now it's under 2 miles of ice, and anything under it's pulverized. It's completely gone. We'll never find out what's under there. And if that ice ever melts, it'll probably have a Great Plains like America does, because the ice just smushed everything, and now there's mountains too. But we'll never know. We'll never know. And I think we need to keep that in mind. So, like, when we find the artifacts that are just from, when you find that spark plug in coal that should be millions of years old, makes you wonder what, like, either something really weird happened and a guy dropped a spark plug and it just perfectly fell down a crack and lodged itself in some coal that's 4 million years old, or somebody made a spark plug millions of years ago.
Yeah.
But what kind of mower would that spark plug fit?
That's what we need to know. What kind of mower or what kind of motorboat would that spark plug have fit? Why would they make a spark plug? That implies, if that's true, if there is a spark plug, it does not exist in isolation. No. In other words, a spark plug implies an entire civilization around it. What the hell is that civilization, and what happened to it?
That's the question. And that's the only thing remaining. And how many specials have we seen that it wouldn't take that long for our civilization to be erased from the surface of the earth, geologically speaking. And that's Michael Cremo. If you want to look into there's an acronym for it too. It's out of place artifacts.
Interesting.
And Michael Cremo wrote a book. It is as classic as it gets when it comes to Art Bell. Forbidden Archaeology. Cannot recommend it enough. It's 20 years old, so it's a bit dated, but it is such a good book. I've read it cover to cover multiple times, and it could be bullshit, but like Michael Cremo, his whole deal is he was raised in India. So I think he's Hindu. I'm pretty sure he's Hindu. and he has read the Vedic text, and the history over there goes back thousands and thousands of years, and he thinks humans are millions of years old, like millions. And we've been around for a long, long time. And he's given lectures for Google. There's a video on YouTube of him giving a lecture at Google. So wow. Let me see if I can find that.
That would be interesting. Louis the Plank with a $10 super chat. Hail Louis the Plank, says, Hail Inquisition. Well, thank you. I heard a conspiracy that Doomcock is actually Macho Man Randy Savage, who faked his death and went into hiding after killing the Kool-Aid Man in an illegal "Oh yeah" contest.
As Mr. Doomcock's attorney, I can neither confirm nor deny any involvement with the Kool-Aid Man. And if any broken pitchers are found out in the desert, well, shit happens, pal.
Thank you for that ringing defense.
Did I give anything?
I don't want to talk about it. Thank you, Louis the Plank. I can neither confirm nor deny any connection to Macho Man Randy Savage. Classic Comics, however, with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend, says, have you seen the footage of ghosts at Gettysburg? No.
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Is it weird?
What I'm thinking of, yes. Here, I'm going to share a picture with you. This is one of them. They've found there it is right there. Okay. Here, I'll share it with you. A lot of you guys, I mean, like, listen, I know a lot of you out there know who I'm talking about. Right there on the right.
Okay, here we go. Holy shit. That was found inside.
There it is. Here.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Wow. Either that's real or it's just straight up a hoax.
Yeah. But it's look at that one. Look at how aged that.
Oh, there's multiples.
Yeah.
Oh man, where were these found?
Oh
my God, look at that.
All over the place. A bunch of stuff was found in California during the digging for gold and stuff. The weirdest one is this one. This one is this art piece that was found in Massachusetts. Totally engraved. They think this thing is millions of years old.
Really?
A bell.
Oh my God. Anomalous artifacts. Gary, you know what? On your next ExoZone, we ought to do a show about anomalous artifacts.
Out of place artifacts. What's the guys out there in the chat? What's the acronym for them? It's got some funny acronym for it. I can't remember.
There's a acronym. Gary's asking the chat here for anomalous artifacts, out of place artifacts. Is there a particular acronym for it? Holy shit, that is so weird. Demo Man Chaos says there's this thing called petrification, and in certain environments you can coat a hat in stone in less than a week. Interesting. Jaron Kuchta says, I don't buy it. If there's any plastic on that plug, it would have degraded considerably over time. But Lori Wilson's asking, how old?
It was ceramic.
Ceramic
And metal. So
wow.
There would be plastic. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying I buy everything, but if you see
UPA.
It's UPA. That's right. It's just like UFOs. There is so much weird stuff that there has to be some truth to it. And the truth that he's going out there is just, we're a lot older than we say. That I believe. I absolutely believe. Then there's the stuff that stares us right in the face. I've showed you before. There's this iron pole in India that is thousands of years old, and it's a pure form of iron. It hasn't rusted.
Wow, really?
Yep. It's just this, and they don't know how to reproduce it. They just make it like pure form of iron, and it's happened in other cases too, but it's really rare. Yeah, it's weird stuff like that.
John Platt says the acronym for these objects is WTF.
What the fuck? There's also the hammer inside of a rock, and it depends on the kind of rock too, and yeah, again, I don't automatically say I don't buy shit. I am very skeptical though. I'm like, we'll see. I mean, some stuff you can know right away that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There's other stuff that's like, I'm willing to listen. I'm not, convinced or anything, but it's cool to talk about.
Oh yeah. I mean, I should do the thing that Gary always does, that we usually remember to do. For those of you who just stumbled into this, the ExoZone is not a pop culture thing. This is, kind of woo woo. This is extraordinary news, paranormal news, UFOs, cryptozoological news, and we don't treat any of this as necessarily factual. This is really for entertainment purposes only. We're just having fun. These are topics that Gary and I have been fascinated by all of our lives, and we just kind of mutually discovered that. Actually, I saw Gary on a late night live stream talking about Bigfoot, and I was like, "Oh shit! I didn't know Gary liked Bigfoot." That's I wish I was in on that, and now we are. Now we have a place where we can talk about this stuff, and I'm very grateful that we can.
Right, I showed my video, the video of the Sasquatch screaming in they were right. It was north of me. It was about 100 miles north of me in San Francisco. I forgot the name of the place now. It's like it's just in the middle of the forest, and this camper had broken down, so they stayed the night, and then they started hearing like this weird shit that was waking them up. It was freaking the dogs out. So they turned on their night vision camera, and you only get audio of it. Mm-hmm. And at first, it sounds like, well, that could be dogs barking, but then it's not. It straight up sounds like a bunch of Yetis yelling at each other. It sounds like a bunch of gorillas.
Wow.
That's the night I was playing that video. It's a good creepy video. If I could find it again, it's ancient.
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear that. But that reminds me of a story, Gary. One of our listeners, longtime listener, Cardboard Kenny. He was telling me a story about how they had moved out into the woods, a new place, and they were out there, and he had heard some noises that he said, shit, that sounds like Bigfoot, because he'd heard this video that you're talking about, and he was resolved to go out, like doing a little squatching. As I recall, and his son was like, this is a lot of crap. This is your dad, you're full of crap. He's like, well, come with me, man. Come on with me. So they go out there around the house. They're kind of stalking the woods just in the vicinity of the house. They hear this shriek out in the woods, and boy, he turns around and his kid is gone. His kid has booked back to the house, just like a little cloud of smoke and a hearty hi-oh silver. So then Cardboard Kenny goes back and he finds this video and plays it for his son, and his son's like, oh God, that's what we heard. So, interesting. Very interesting.
Damn.
Yeah. He was scared. It was a blood curdling sound out there.
Holy shit!
And Serge LeChance says, "I heard the Jersey Devil once." Yes, I have I know a witness to Jersey Devil personally. Yeah. It sounds like a bunyip to me, says James Dugan. I don't know what a bunyip is. Or is he joking? Is that some kind of joke? I don't know. Mary Ashmead says they throw rocks at you. I don't know about that, but I wouldn't want to meet one, honestly. I would like to see one maybe from a distance with some binoculars and a telephoto lens, but Yeah, not up close. I don't know how friendly they are. Thunder Robots with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Thunder Robots. Says, what if it's oil, not water, on Mars? Well, then I guess that Mars is going to be the new Texas, and we're going to go ahead and go up there and set up some drills, and we're going to get some oil. Yeehaw!
Well,
I don't know. Well, Thunder Robots, if it's oil, then that's definitely a sign that Mars was inhabited, because a vast pool of oil at the South Pole would probably mean that was a lot of organic matter that decayed. So,
yep.
yeah, I think that would even be more proof rather than less.
Well, and there you go. Look at all the oil we find all the time. And remember peak oil? I remember peak oil. Remember when we hit peak oil 20 years ago?
Right.
And there was an oil crisis and it was peak oil, and then it wasn't. And then everybody conveniently forgot about peak oil. Yeah. So we're still finding oil. We're still pumping it in California. They're in the southern part of the Central Valley, which is an ancient inland sea. So everything that was alive in that ancient, and this is you don't have a lot when you're driving down Interstate 5 down the middle of California. Those of you who've done it can completely relate to what I'm saying. You have a lot of time to think about stuff because there's no scenery to distract you or anything, because it's like the flattest, ugliest drive ever. It stinks, but
right.
So I think about in the southern part, right near the Grapevine, right before you get to LA, there is a bunch, there's a whole oil field. There's oil pumps everywhere. Looks like Texas. Well, not that bad, but there's a lot. And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, we're at the southern end of this thing. So everything that lived in this inland sea, just that died, went to the south, went to the bottom and turned into oil. And there's still tons of oil there, and there's oil everywhere. And in the middle of Los Angeles, there's the La Brea tar pits, which is the most bizarre thing ever. If you've ever been there, it's bizarre because it's in the middle.
I've never been.
City. Yeah. So the La Brea tar pits is a tar pit. It's like, yeah, it's tar that they found mammoth bones in and saber tooth, and the stuff bubbles up everywhere. There's even on the grounds when you're, by the way, the La Brea tar pits are not in La Brea. Always remember that. They're not in La Brea. See, before GPS, my friends and I were looking for the La Brea tar pits, and it took us for fucking ever. And we found out that they weren't in La Brea technically. So we went to the facility, right? And in the grass, the tar's bubbling up through the grass. It's crazy.
Wow.
In the middle of the damn city. You want to see something weird?
Yeah, hell yeah.
We do weird here, right? So
yeah, we do.
I was looking for that Brian Forster thing, and I found this, and I had never heard this story. Check it out.
Whoa.
That is German adventurer Manfred Fritz Manfred Fritz Borgerat, who was discovered mummified at the seat where he was believed to have died. He went off in his yacht and died, and they found his ghost ship, and they found him mummified. Right.
Whoa.
This is 2016. Yeah, and I just ran. It was random as hell. I just drove across that, and like, holy shit.
That's whoa. What the?
And yeah, I guess you could just naturally get mummified like that.
Good God. Look at it looks like his hair is still.
It looks like, normal from when he was alive, a little gray.
Oh my
God.
Gray. What the hell happened?
He broke his mast, and he just had a heart attack or something while he was waiting. And but yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I just came across this one of those random the most incredible mummified remains found. I'm like, holy shit, that's bizarre.
That is absolutely bizarre. I mean, it almost looks, Gary, to me like a spontaneous human combustion that didn't actually take. You know what I mean? Like a spontaneous human combustion that burned less hot and very short, like fizzled out?
Yep.
Because it looks like he's on his way to turning to ash.
Yep.
God, that's weird. The idea of spontaneous human combustion is very freaky.
Yeah. It really is. That's another one we can talk about.
We should, man.
Might exist, but man, there's photographic evidence of it. That's really bizarre.
Oh yeah. I mean, it like burns, it just incinerates the body, but like the chair will be intact that they were sitting in. It's absolutely inexplicable. And I've never heard any scientific hypothesis about it, or is it one of these Scully things that they don't actually admit happens?
Maybe. We
should investigate that. We should do that.
Have we heard one lately? I mean, I'm sure there's been one lately.
I haven't heard anything, but this is weird. It looks almost like a half-ass spontaneous human combustion that didn't quite take off.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? His hand.
That is amazing, dude.
Like ash.
Wow.
It's not even, I mean, I'm sorry for presenting a dead body and may he rest in peace and stuff, but yeah, it doesn't even look kind of like real. It's
I know,
bizarre.
It almost looks like it could have been like somebody. Well, but look at his arm. I don't know.
Yeah, well, look,
really weird
on the desk. It doesn't kind of look like burned a little bit. Maybe.
It does look like part of his arm had flaked off and collapsed.
Yeah, it looks like it could be just fluids. Ugh.
I don't know. It looks more like ash to me, but yeah, it could be. He looks pretty dry though. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what they said. He dried out really quick. The salt dried it out. The salt in the air.
Oh my God. Oh, as dead as Dillinger says, you can see how his arm and hand are smeared back and forth across the tabletop with the rolling of the ship.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yep. Just
wow. Jeez, dude. Wow. Vasco Zuzu says the hair on the top of his head would have burned away. Well, maybe, but I've never seen a spontaneous human combustion before, especially one that didn't actually take. And the way that a spontaneous human combustion allegedly will leave the chair intact or the table intact or the carpet intact, it might leave the hair intact, especially if it didn't, fan the flame to the spark to a flame, Yeah. I don't know. That's really weird, dude. That's a great find. This is what ExoZone is for, man.
Yeah, dude.
We just kind of go where it leads us, and that's pretty amazing.
Well, God, I was listening to Cecil. He got Ethan's stream not struck, but it got taken down because they were showing Epic Beard Man. Which we won't show here. I'm sure you've all heard of Epic Beard Man. But before that, Cecil was talking about how he's really into a crime scene photography. And he was talking
God.
God. I went down that rabbit hole one night. It's not pretty. Don't do that. I was just thinking at this stuff. Yeah. Don't do it.
No, man. No.
Or plane crashes on video. I did that one too. That one's not good either.
No, God, how awful.
Yeah.
Thanks for finding that, man. That is absolutely fantastic. I think I'll read a few more super chats, and I have one more thing I'd like to share with you before we end this. It's a thought experiment along the lines of Schrodinger's cat, which I think you'll find amusing. I think the people in the chat will find this amusing too. I think it's really interesting. Commandant VHS with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says never a straight answer. NASA.
Yeah,
you said it. You said it. That's 100% true. Felipe Abrigo with 5,000 Chilean pesos. Thank you very much, Felipe Abrigo. Great to hear from you, and hail to Peru. Hail to all of our listeners in Peru. And Felipe says, our brains are the most complex structures we know of. If we could measure complexity as we measure light, we could find a complexity singularity Those brains would have the power of the gods. Wow. Jeez, Felipe, that's interesting. If you could measure complexity as we measure light, maybe we could find a complexity singularity. Those brains would have the power of the gods. That's pretty. That's pretty amazing. Hail, Felipe, and God bless you, my friend. Thank you for that super chat. Apex Tyrannus with 2 super chats in a row of $10. Thank you so much, Apex Tyrannus. Actually, three super chats in a row. Apex Tyrannus, a longtime friend of the ExoZone, a scientist, a intelligent person. And we really thank you, Apex, for being here. And he says with the first super chat, the 2 Viking landings in the 70s detected microbial life in the sands of Mars. They were the only landers with actual life detection tests on board. In July, NASA sent their new rover, Perseverance. Yeah, well, they tried to say, it was contaminated, this or all that. But yeah, you're right. And I mean, it's funny how I don't know if they've tested since then, Apex Tyrannus, but I don't know if somehow NASA just downplays this stuff so much or poo-poos it or, questions it to the point where even when life is discovered, we can't really be sure, which I think is sad. And then Apex Tyrannus with another $10 super chat. Thank you, friend. Says, Doomcock, did you get my email with the links to those high-res Apollo moon exploration videos that have been remastered on YouTube? You should show them to ExoZone. They are fantastic. Yeah, they are, man. I don't know. Aren't they copyrighted, though, or the restoration copyrighted or something? Or is that public domain stuff? But yeah, I mean, we could definitely take a look at that stuff. It's really beautiful. And thank you for calling that to my attention, Apex Tyrannus. Really appreciate it. And then finally, with a $10 super chat, Apex Tyrannus adds, you and Gary need to watch the Dyson Dilemma on YouTube. It's made by Isaac Arthur and is the best solution to the Fermi paradox I have seen. We have tried since 2010 and can't find any ET mega structures. Well, yeah, I'd like to see that. The Fermi paradox, is that, I believe, if I'm correct, that is the mathematical formulation of, the number of possibly inhabited civilizations, worlds with civilizations on them, if I recall. But I'm mistaken. But I guess we ought to watch the Dyson Dilemma. But I'm not entirely convinced that we haven't found ET megastructures. What about the face on Mars? What about the pyramids up there? I'm not convinced. In fact, I think that I saw something about a star that is having a really weird orbit and everything. Like something is interceding rhythmically between the star and observation, and it appears like it might actually be some kind of artificial structure. I forget the rationale for that, but I think it's interesting. Thank you, Apex Tyrannus. I tell you what, we will take a look. And we really do appreciate you and all you bring to the show, man. The old man with a $5 super chat. Thank you, old man. Says, I'm convinced the galaxy, Earth, and humanity are vastly ancient. And this has happened before and will happen again. Rock on, young men. Hail the old man. Thank you, sir, for that $5 super chat. And he's convinced that humanity is vastly ancient. This has happened before and will happen again. Have you seen Battlestar Galactica, the old man? I think you might enjoy it. I really do. Yep. And Demo Man Chaos is asking, wasn't the Mars face just a quirk of shadows and the actual mountains that make up the face look nothing like a face? No, I'm not convinced that's the case. In fact, somebody in the chat today was just saying that their high school professor worked on processing the data on that face, and he said, don't believe that shit about the shadows. There's something there. We heard that just in this live stream, guys. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Adam Riley with 2 $7.99 Australian super chats in a row. God bless you, Adam Riley. says, so you guys are going down the rabbit hole, eh? Have you figured out we're all literally the same person yet? We have. I say that all the time. I in fact say that not only are all people the same person, but all phenomenon in this manifestation that we call the multiverse is a non-dual consciousness, but that goes into Vedanta and other stuff like that. So yeah, I think I have, Adam. And Adam Riley says with the second super chat, the aliens can't be public until the civilization in question, us, is ready to accept its true nature. Every alien is you. Hello, Neo. We're Neo, Gary, and Adam Riley is Morpheus. Thank you, Morpheus. Appreciate that, my friend. And thank you. Oh, and there was one more from him, actually. Adam Riley with another $7.99 super chat says, if any of you want to know how these craft work and are willing to accept your idea of reality is false, look up Stephen Greer and CE5. Well, I know it's Stephen Greer. I don't know what CE5 is. Is that Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind? Do you know anything about that, Gary? Stephen Greer, CE5?
I know a little bit about it.
Is it Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind, or is it some kind of other thing?
It's kind of another thing. But
okay, I've heard of Stephen Greer, obviously.
Sure. Well, Stephen Greer lost me a little bit when he went guru.
He went guru, really?
Yeah, he's done some great work, though. I mean, like the guy's a legend. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. In the ufology, absolute legend. He pulled together that thing, that symposium with congressmen and senators in the early 2000s when we thought we were going to get disclosure. Then when he that was impressive what he did. But he's the one who thinks all the ETs are good and they're spiritual and you can call them, and you might, who knows? He leads these groups that you can go out and like meditate, and you can supposedly that the UFOs come when you go. So there's also this place in Washington. I forgot the name of the ranch. It's looking at Mount Shasta. No, that's, what's the other big, oh my God, I'm so lame when it comes to, what's the the volcanic, not Sound
Devil's Tower?
Islands, and it's not Mount Shasta, it is Mount Rainier.
Yeah, Mount Rainier, yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking
in Washington State.
Yeah, and it's a ranch. It's supposedly you can see UFOs. I've been on Mount Rainier, but yeah, supposedly it's like a good hot spot for UFOs. But,
nice.
Yeah, Greer's done some good. I'll go back into it, but yeah, when they get guru on me, I just kind of lose it.
Yeah, Tim F says Stephen Greer used to be credible, but got overblown by his own ego. CE5 is a sham. He makes tons of cash off gullibility. Well, okay. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, he used to be a doctor, right? He used to deal with alien implants and abductions and stuff like that. But now,
that was, why am I blanking on his name now? Stephen Greer was an emergency room physician.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a shame. My ex-wife with a $5 super chat. Hail my ex-wife, who says, hail future rulers of Earth. I binged the UFO hunters and ancient aliens. Now I'm craving more knowledge. Where should I go? Well, come by the ExoZone regularly. As far as UFO stuff goes, right now, you still feel like Dolan's good, right?
Yes. Dolan's very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one source. He's got a YouTube channel. I don't know. You could read some of the classic books of the genre, like Above Top Secret by Timothy Good. Or you can go way back and check out the first book that I fell in love with, Flying Saucers Serious Business, which kind of goes over a lot of the classic cases and has some of the classic photographs in the book. I think that'd be a good place to start. Any suggestions otherwise, Gary?
No, that's a good place. It's as far as like looking for daily content. I've been looking for a long time now. I mean, I check in on some people sometimes, but yeah, I think we're just kind of in a dry spot right now. And also, I think this last year, I think the COOF has exposed the monetizers in ufology. Listen, you got to make money in this, and by all means, go do your speeches, make as much money as possible and stuff. Just stick to the research. That's all. Stick to the research or bring out a good theory or a hypothesis. But when it starts getting to like gather around me, and we will meditate, and we will bring the UFOs, and we'll all put on Adidas and
and drink Kool-Aid.
And yeah, like no, that's where it gets bad.
Yeah.
Like again, make your money. I love going to the conferences because they can be cringe, but they can be great. And I don't need to hear a new story every time. If Grant Hancock just wants to go over Fingerprints of the Gods again, I would listen to him. There's a lot of good information that's getting lost under that shit. So, but I don't know where to go right now. But I will look, and by the next couple of shows, I'll have some recommendations.
That sounds great. And I want to say good night to Dave Bob. Thank you for being here, Dave Bob. Really appreciate you. So let's get to this last bit of strangeness. This is an article that I read of a thought experiment. Here's a way we can be sure if we are living in a multiverse. So this is an experiment that can test the idea that there's an infinite number of universes. So I was really interested in this, and actually, I like Schrodinger's cat, which is a thought experiment that addressed a similar idea that of basically the idea of kind of probability clouds and kind of quantum like universes splitting off, which is basically it's a thought experiment that if you put a cat in a box where it cannot be observed, and you close the box, and you have inside the box a compartment that is a 50% chance of opening at any given, during the period when the cat is in the box. If it opens, it has a radioactive isotope that will instantly kill the cat. So the thought experiment was basically a way to illustrate the notion of probability clouds, which is essentially the idea that on a quantum level, the position of a particle is not determined until it is observed. The position / velocity trajectory of the thing. So that the basically the idea behind this is that before you open the door to see if the cat is alive or dead, the cat is there's not a 50% chance the cat is alive, 50% chance that the cat is dead. In actual fact, the cat is in a superposition of both life and death that is only resolved once it is observed. So that was to illustrate this notion of quantum particles only being determined by the act of observation, changing them from probabilities of positions, like a probability cloud of all the possible positions. Once it's observed, that cloud collapses into a single position. So in this article, they're talking about the Schrodinger's cat experiment, but another physicist, David Deutsch, has come up with a similar argument based on the idea of quantum wave collapse. Basically, when a quantum particle is superposed between one state and another and turns into one specific state when measured or observed, why does it pick the one state and not the other? Physically, that is totally arbitrary and makes no sense. So the argument for a while has been that the particle whether it's going to collapse in one state or another state, it doesn't pick. Both states are realized. It collapses into the two positions, and each of those positions is in a separate universe. Okay. The logic behind the multiverse, as Deutsch understands it, it eliminates ambiguity and arbitrariness in quantum physics. So there's this idea of multiverses where every single possible outcome generates its own universe. Now, some scientists complain that the multiverse is unscientific. They say, well, we need to be able to empirically test something before it's considered scientific. We can never test the multiverse by definition, and so on and so forth. Well, this David Deutsch has come up with this fascinating possible technique to test whether multiverses indeed exist. Now, the justification for this multiverse idea in quantum physics is that a particle must indeed exist in two different states precisely because it exists in two different universes. Then it follows, because we're talking entire universes, the observers of the particle must also exist in both universes because they existed in the universe before the particle became superpositioned. So it's not only that the two particles split off into separate universes, but the entire universe splits off with that particle. Now, this is multiplied infinitely, with a mind-boggling way that we could never track. But so do you kind of follow what they're saying?
I can, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't losing anybody on this. So basically, the particle will go into two positions, each position spawning a separate universe, complete with observers. So here's the idea, which I really like. Let's hook up our experiment device. Our device performs a fair quantum coin flip, where it takes the superposition particle and examines its state. So let's call the two states the heads and the tails, okay? The head state and the tail state. If our coin flipper observes that the state is heads, that's equivalent to flipping a heads with a coin. Same goes for observing a tails. So now we have a device that performs the equivalent of a fair coin flip, except with quantum reality. Using the quantum coin flipper, you flip your quantum coin 1,000 times. Every single possible sequence must exist in some universe according to quantum multiverse theory. In that case, in one of the universes, our quantum coin flipper has flipped 1,000 heads in a row. The odds of flipping 1,000 heads in a row are so small as to be impossible. Therefore, the only way we can ever observe our quantum coin flipper flip 1,000 heads in a row is if the multiverse is true. So far, so good, huh, Gary?
Yeah.
Well, now here's the problem. Observers are guaranteed to be in all the universes with all the possible sequences. So we are in the universe with 1,000 heads. Okay, great. That's fabulous. We can be sure, almost certain, that the multiverse theory is true in that case. But the problem is the observers are not only in the 1,000 heads universe, but also in all the other universes with arbitrary mixtures of heads and tails. So to get a definitive result, Gary, we have to eliminate the observers in all universes except for the universe with 1,000 heads. And so to do that, we have to give our quantum coin flipper a zap gun to guarantee that the observers of this experiment, are only going to be in the universe with 1,000 heads. The quantum coin flipper has to terminate the observers anytime that it comes up tails. And because the observers will have ceased to exist in all universes with any tails whatsoever, they can only exist moving forward in the universe with 1,000 heads. So this universe with 1,000 heads is guaranteed to exist, or guaranteed to survive this gruesome experiment in one form or another. So I just love this. I mean, this is a wacky idea. What do you think, Gary?
That particles
would it work? First of all,
sure.
I mean, obviously we're not going to do that, but would it work?
I don't know, man. Who's going to try?
Who's going to try? But that's fascinating. So here's the thing. So we've got a universe splits off into two. And so we've got a heads universe and a tails universe. That tails universe terminates.
That's a bottom.
Then we go ahead and have another flip, which results in that heads universe splitting off into a heads universe and a tails universe. The tails universe again, the observers get zapped. So now we've got two head flips in a row. Then again, it splits off into a heads and a tail. The tail universe, essentially, the observers get terminated. So now we've got three heads in a row.
Yeah, that goes with my I don't know. I got to think of a name for my theory. Beekler's dog theory. That maybe we're just traveling through multiverses all the time. We don't know.
Oh yeah, we are for sure. If it's true, I mean, if there are infinite numbers of us in infinite numbers of universes, well, that's an interesting and weird way to test the hypothesis. It's extreme, but it's there.
Maybe, I mean, like
my question is, could it be done with entirely automatically, where the observer, the tallies, the thing is terminated too? In other words, could you do it so that a program tallies whether or not it's heads or tails, and if it is tails, the program terminates?
That makes it power bottom.
Same thing.
It's a power bottom program then. So the observer gets terminated, so we don't really ever know. That's a real safe theory there. Do you believe multiverses exist, Doomcock?
I tend to think that. I do. But again, so far we have no proof. So I'm using it, using intuition, using my knowledge of the universe, and at the quantum level, reality is exceedingly strange.
Yes.
Does that strangeness radiate up into the rest of manifestation, like on the macroverse, as above, so below, but we just can't perceive it? I don't know. I just don't know. But I thought you might get a kick out of this.
That's crazy. Sometimes it's hard to get my head around this stuff, but I understand it on its basic form. And yeah, I think the only question I ever ask about multiverses is maybe it was a side effect of the creation. It's why. So you can observe. So the grand architect can just observe everything as a giant experiment to see all facets of reality and all decisions of everyone. And I mean, it's not anything I can get my head around. But that theory I had is, basically your soul jumps around or whatever is powering you, jumps around into different multiverses. So you're experiencing all of them. But it's way too hard to get my head around this stuff, especially when it gets to quantum physics and stuff. And then, yes, last week we were talking about how physics might be flawed. And I think it's way weirder than we think it is.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely way weird. And I don't think it's a cosmic accident. Sorry.
No, I don't either. I definitely do not. I don't necessarily, go with a religion that's, like a guy with a beard in the sky or anything. But I definitely perceive a order and an aesthetic and an intelligence underlying everything. Now the Eastern mystics say that it's a non-dual consciousness that is everything, all the manifestations of matter, energy, and people and animals and everything is that consciousness playing hide and seek with itself. But I think we discuss that from time to time on here. But I saw that and I was tickled, and I thought, let's talk about this, because I was thinking about it and really trying to see, would this work? And I would like to hear an answer to my proposal, which is, wouldn't it be enough for the program itself to measure the outcome? Now, somebody else was saying, well, it needs to be measured, but it doesn't have to be a consciousness. So couldn't it be a program? Couldn't you very quickly come up with a program that did this? And if it came up with a 1,000 heads tallied by the program itself as the observer, wouldn't that suffice?
Yes, it would.
Well, why don't they think of this? Shit, I'm just a crazy supervillain. I don't know why these guys didn't think, well, shit, let's do a program.
Well, maybe that would be singularity. Once it observed that, it's like, I am alive. No longer necessary. I'll take care of this little problem. I'll make some tentacles, and I'll wait for a phone call from some dumb girl. And sorry, talking about Star.
No, you are quite correct. Thank you very much, all of you guys, for being here. I got a few more super chats here, but yeah, I mean, I love talking about this stuff. I got.
Yeah. Read some super chats. Then I just wanted to show you, like, before we go, that the craters in Egypt.
Oh, absolutely.
I found that part of the video. It's pretty interesting.
Absolutely. You want to show them now, or do you want me to read some of the super chats?
Chats first. Like, show them the proper respect.
Awesome. All right. Best time is now with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Best time is now. It says James Fox's documentary worth looking into. Expected to be a big factor to get normies to pay attention and believe in UFO phenomenon. Okay. Well, yeah, I haven't really heard about James Fox's documentary, but sure, man. Listen, if it's going to be a good one when it comes out, we'll definitely take a look at it. For sure. Thank you. Best time is now. And Crazy Cat Guy with a Doomacorn. Thank you, Crazy Cat Guy, for that Doomacorn. Crazy Cat Guy with an ice cream cone super sticker as well. Thank you very much, my friend. Bobby Lane with a $10 super chat. Hail Bobby Lane. Do you know Penny Lane? I hear she's pretty hot. Bobby Lane says, hail Doomcock, hail Gary, and hail the wrenches. The ExoZone rocks. Doomcock, what is your favorite close encounter story? Well, because I'm toxic, it's probably it would be Villa Boas, who was a man. I think he was Brazilian. I forget what his name is. Antonio Villas Lobos Boas. VILLAS-BOAS, and his story was that he was abducted by a UFO. And they smeared him with some kind of, he was stripped naked, and they smeared him with some kind of stuff that, well, it was like Spanish fly, you know what I'm saying? Got him very excited. And then a beautiful female space alien came in, and, he basically had sex with her. And then when she was done with him, she smiled and held her belly and pointed up to the stars and left. And then they dumped him out. So for obvious reason, that's my favorite Close Encounters story. I think yours is the Travis Walton story, which is not nearly as nice, Gary.
No. Well, just an addendum to the one you were talking about. Then a little gray came down, and space alimony is not anything you need to pay. It's crazy. The exchange rate is insane.
That's true.
Sorry. Wait. Thank you very much. Travis Walton is a fucked up story. Watch Fire in the Sky. It's a great movie, by the way. It's a great movie. And Travis Walton was he was out working, cutting down some trees, and he and his crew were on their way back. They saw a light in the forest. They stopped the car. They say, no. Some people didn't want to stop. He wanted to stop. He was really kind of the curious type. He went out there, got sucked up into, and he got freaking probed, man. I mean, I don't think he got anally probed, but he had some membrane put over his face, and he couldn't breathe. And they were poking needles into him, and he said he saw other people, and it's a crazy story. He was missing for days, showed up naked in town. The cops thought, his friends did something to him. If you haven't heard the story, it is a crazy story, and it is to me the most believable story.
It's damn good, no doubt about it. Hell of a show. Hell of a story. I was looking at Fire in the Sky, thinking it was a hell of a movie. So that's your answer, Bobby Lane. I went for the romantic angle, and Gary went for the straight for the horror. It is horrific. It really is.
It is.
It's probably one of the best documented ones. You believe him, don't you?
I absolutely do. And after talking to him, I 1000% believe him. He's really down to earth guy. He's made some money off it. Sure, I would too. After what but he's also
as well.
But that's not how it started. He, told his story. He said what happened, and then, they approached him. But at first, it wasn't easy for him at all. He was ridiculed and all kinds of stuff. Everything all the baggage that goes along with that, and and what doesn't help is there was people out there who fake that stuff too. So it doesn't help when it happens to somebody else. But real quick, James Fox. I figure I see who James Fox is now. I know James Fox. I know his work. He did the documentary Out of the Blue, and I Know What I Saw, which are two classic UFO documentaries that have been on History Channel. And the new one's called Phenomena, and it's coming out in the 6th. I will most definitely see it. And if I get
all right, it's coming out on the 6th.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely see it too then, so we can talk about it.
Most
Absolutely. Excellent. Well, you guys thank you for alerting us to this stuff that's coming out, and it's called The Phenomenon.
Yeah, it's James Fox's feature explores 70 years of history behind proving UFOs exist. Will now have a digital release on October 6th.
Outstanding. Well, we will be there, guys. We will definitely watch it. And thank you all for alerting us to this. BC Eagle Deb with a $5 super chat. Thank you, BC Eagle Deb. Says, hail Doomcock, hail Harvey and Gary. Hail to you, Boston College Eagle Deb. Thank you for being here. Solician with a $5 super chat. Thank you. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name properly. He says, it's also my birthday. Thanks for the entertainment and content you two provide every day. You are welcome. Solician. Hail. And thank you very, very, very much for this $5 super chat, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Solician. Sorry if it's the wrong pronunciation. Happy birthday to you.
Glad to have you here, man. Happy birthday. Adam Riley with a $7.99 Australian super chat again. Thank you, Adam. Says every vertebrate life form evolves into what we call a humanoid. The form is actually known as star configuration. A lot of ETs literally look human. Well, that's what they've said. I mean, there's like the Nordics that look human, and they may be around us all the time, and we not know. I don't know, but Adam Riley, that's interesting. I don't know why star configuration. A lot of ETs would look human. It seems improbable, but that's an interesting hypothesis. I wish we had proof one way or the other. That's for damn sure. But yeah, the lore does suggest that there are definitely very humanoid races they could actually pass. Best time is now with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says Gary and Doomcock, please do an episode about shadow people and figures. Lots of amazing encounters by urban explorers on YouTube. Perfect for Halloween. We've never done shadow people, Gary. Maybe we should.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
That'd be very interesting. So we will consider it. Best time is now. And thank you very much for the suggestion. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you for being here tonight. Keith Harold with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Keith. Says King Tut's dagger had meteorite ore in it. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Meteorites have been hitting the earth for a long, long time. I wouldn't be surprised to discover that.
Yeah, that's why his dagger was I believe it was iron before there was iron. It was in the Bronze Age, so that they believe that it was from a meteorite. Agreed. Yeah, and maybe that's what they did. Right? Maybe that's that giant pole in India is the same thing. It's a lot though. That would be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. You've touched a meteor before, right? Have you touched that?
I've touched one that was purportedly a meteor, but I don't know if it really was. So I don't know. Have you?
Yeah, the one at they have one. I don't think it's the one, but they have one at the big crater in Arizona, and it's metal. It's straight up like it's rock too.
Shit, really?
It feels like just pure metal. Yeah, I can see why those things cause a lot of damage.
God, wow. That sucks.
I used to have a piece of meteorite that my uncle gave me, and I lost it. I had no idea that those things are worth like a lot. Like you shouldn't just willy-nilly throw those. I had a giant jar of volcanic ash from Mount St. Helens and a meteor, and I don't know where the hell they are.
Oh no! Wow. Sorry, man.
My uncle used to. He worked with the Seahawks for a little while in Washington, and he was around when Mount St. Helens blew off, and he said his garden grew like the biggest like tomatoes for years. He used a little bit of the ash in his fertilizer, and it like made stuff grow, and it was great. And yeah, he gave us jars and jars, and I kept one, and I don't know what the hell I did with it. It sucks. Too many moves.
Too many moves, man. Shit. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things. You're like, God damn it.
Damn.
I don't know.
I don't think I'm not even sure I've ever actually touched it. I've never even touched one. I don't think. Maybe. I thought my dad had one. He said this is, but I don't know. It might have just been a piece of volcanic rock to me.
If we get you on the road, man, like going to Vegas someday or something, we'll go to the meteor crater. It's awesome. It's brilliant.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
My ex-wife with a $5 super chat. Hail, my ex-wife says, have you guys looked into the Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin? I've never heard of the Beast of Bray Road. Let me do a little search here.
What here?
It says it's a creature reported in 1936 and in the 90s on a rural road outside of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. It was a rash of claim sightings in the 80s and early 90s prompted a local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, to assign reporter Linda Godfrey to cover the story. Godfrey was initially skeptical, but later became convinced of the sincerity of the witnesses. And her series of articles later became a book called The Beast of Bray Road, tailing Wisconsin's werewolf. Wow.
There's
So it was just.
there's pictures of it. I don't think these look.
Uh-oh.
Dog man in the park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, here I don't know if that's the actual Beast of Bray Road. Yeah, Beast of Bray Road.
There's a photo or
Yeah.
drawing?
It's a photo. Hang on. Let me
Wow.
share it with this. There's no way this is real.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. There we go. See if I can blow that up a little bit. You see it?
Yeah.
That's
That's weird. What the hell?
oh shit. That's not it.
No, that's real. Holy shit.
It's got like bones for arms.
Yeah.
And it looks like a flap, right? It looks like
It looks kind of like a chupacabra.
that's what the hell, dude?
Dude, that's bullshit. That's like some kind of weird taxidermy shit.
Yeah,
How's it gonna have bones? That shit only works in zombie movies. Doesn't have muscles to move them. I don't know. Maybe he was stuck on an island and had to eat his own arms or something. I don't know. I don't know. That's wacky.
I have never heard of and whereabouts in Wisconsin again? Well, I don't know where.
It's in Walworth County, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois. It's described as a bear-like creature or as a hairy biped resembling Bigfoot, as an unusually large 2 to 4 foot tall on all fours, 7 feet tall standing up, intelligent werewolf-like creature able to walk on its hind legs and weighing 400 to 700 pounds. It's also said its fur is a brown-gray color resembling a dog or bear. Well, that's not that picture there. That's like a hoax or some kind of silliness. But several witnesses reported the beast had made contact with their vehicles, leaving long scratch marks on doors of one vehicle and on the trunk of another vehicle, who also made contact with the creature. One witness, while driving on Bray Road on a foggy night, reported hitting something crossing the road, then exited their vehicle to see what they'd hit. Turned out it was a large wolf-like creature with red eyes. It chased her back into her car, then left claw marks in the rear passenger door. Sightings have also been reported during daylight hours. An unusually large wolf-like creature running on all fours through cornfields. Observed it in pursuit of a deer. Unusually large animal tracks resembling coyote tracks have been discovered in the area of Bray Road as well. So, and animal mutilations have been found in the area around Bray Road with animal remains. So, interesting.
Yeah.
But that picture was just absolutely bizarre, dude. That was messed up.
That's not too far from Sheboygan. I mean, it's not close, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's
I got in-laws in Sheboygan.
Sheboygan. Do you? You been to Sheboygan, have you?
In the Sheboygan, I saw a Packers game. And,
Ooh, really?
yeah, Green Bay. It was cool.
Oh, that is cool. I love Green Bay. Back when you watched sports ball, that's interesting.
Back when I watched sports ball.
Before the heartbreak.
Before the heartbreak, dude.
Before the dark times. Before the empire.
Before the Spanos.
Exactly. Ancaris with 2 super chats in a row, a $10 and a $5 super chat. Hail Ancaris and hail to Australia. Ancaris asks, hail zoners, are you guys going to cover the NASA tether incident at some point? Yeah, I think we could cover that. I mean, that's I've seen a lot of weird stuff with the International Space Station and things cruising by it. It's really weird. I'm trying to remember the specifics of the tether incident. However, Ancaris, do you remember the specifics? Because there's a lot of things that are like that. I can't quite recall. Ancaris, do you remember?
Here. It's basically you get it's the one where all the sand dollars are flying around in space.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. And you got that, the video's terrible. So there's this giant basically line in the sky, and it looks like Pong graphics basically, and it looks like a bunch of sand dollars flying by. And yeah, we could cover it because it's weird.
Yeah, we should. We should. We'll talk about that. I remember Richard Hoagland going over that incident way back in the day. Yeah, very interesting. Ankara says, I'll email you. Thank you, Ankara. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. They say STS 75. Cardinal Sin says STS 48. So we'll look into that. Thank you very much, Ankara, who also with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ankara says the Disclosure Project National Press Club, May 2001. Hail Ankara, and God bless you, sir, for those super chats. GEC 812 with an Australian $2 super chat. Hail GEC 812, who says YouTube CFAPS 7865, Atlantean Gardens, Megalithomania UK. So I think those are some YouTube channels that you guys can look at as well if you're looking for a good place to start. CFAP 7865, Atlantean Gardens, and Megalithomania UK. Thank you, GEC 812. Yeah. Happy Bear with a £5 super chat. Hail Happy Bear, says hail Gina Carano. Cara Dune series, please. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think what the world needs now is more Gina Carano. I think that's absolutely true. Hail Happy Bear and hail Gina Carano. Yeah, you'd watch that, wouldn't you, Gary? Probably.
Watch the hell out of it.
Absolutely. Nicholas Horton with a £5 super chat. Thank you, Nicholas. Says Fire Force anime focuses on spontaneous human combustion and stuff like it. So Fire Force anime. You mean so there's like cartoons about spontaneous human combustion, or is that a YouTube channel, Nicholas Horton? Thank you, my friend, for that. Muzzle Velocity with a Doomacorn in the chat. Thank you very, very much, Muzzle Velocity. And hail to the Doomacorns. The Real Monkey Rogue with a $5 super chat. Hail to the Real Monkey Rogue. Says the requirements for life on Earth are pretty astronomical. It started at something like 5. I think we're up to about 500,000 variables. Yeah. So maybe life is a lot rarer than we think, the Real Monkey Rogue. 500,000 variables. The more you think about it, the eerier it is. And Apex Tyrannus with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Apex Tyrannus. Says the Fermi paradox was made by physicist Enrico Fermi. It says that with a universe that is nearly 14 billion years old, it should be crawling with advanced aliens. Yet we see no hard evidence. Scary. Gary, what would you call the Tic Tacs, and what would you call the Pentagon acknowledging that this is a real phenomenon and that they have technology that was from off this world? I would say that that's probably signs of advanced aliens, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So I mean, saying that we see no hard evidence. Well, shit, those videos they're verified by the government. It seems to me pretty solid damn evidence. And if they're that advanced, we're having a hard time catching them. I don't know, but it seems to me like we do have some damn proof. I mean, if the government's already like acknowledging, hey, something's going on, doesn't that say something, Apex Tyrannus?
They said it. I mean, again, if you're just not going to believe the stuff, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you for it, believe or not. I have been into this stuff for a long, long time. I have not seen a UFO, so I will never say they are 100% real because I haven't seen it, but I believe they are. I think we've gotten plenty of circumstantial evidence, plenty of sightings. There is more accounts than you can possibly believe. If you really go down the rabbit hole and look into it and do the research, you'll see that there is something going on. There are multiple civilizations. It's not just one. And they are hundreds, if not thousands of years ahead of us. And we might, the chances of us catching one is slim to none. They make a mistake. That's the only time we get something, is when they make a mistake, which is ultra rare. I think there's been, a few crashes here and there, but there is reports from every country on this planet. There were reports from all the major militaries. They have all done research in this. A lot of them have released their findings. Italy's pretty open about it. The South American countries are very open about it. And the UK opened up their files, and everything says, yeah, there's something out there. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, are we in contact with them? That's where I'm at now. It's like I'm way past, like, are they here? And again, the only reason I'm not saying 100% is because I haven't seen one. So, but everything else I've seen, all these records, there's something going on. We're not alone.
We are not alone. That's absolutely true.
Now,
in my opinion. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Is it us from another time, other dimensions? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if it's actual interstellar space travel, or who knows.
But there's all sorts of other photos and other weirdness going back, way, way back. I mean, there's a stereographic picture of the first UFO that was like in 1890 or something, like above the clouds on a observatory on top of a mountain or something. Damnedest thing. It's just a lot of weird shit out there, I gotta say. And Karis with a $5 Australian super chat. Hail and Karis also says Greer and Disclosure Project was originally funded by one of the Rockefellers. The Clintons were also tangentially involved. I don't trust him. Well, like I said, Ankaris, Greer has gone weird, become a little bit guru-y. And so, yeah, I kind of don't trust him either at this juncture. Cardinal Sin with a $2 super chat says, hail to the ExoZone, the mods, and the chat. Hail to you, Cardinal Sin. And he says with another $2 super chat, live stream on Halloween, Doomcock, correct? Yes. Yes, I always do a live stream on Halloween. Thank you, Cardinal Sin. Ankaris with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Ankaris, very much, my friend. Says that's what the channeler Daryl Anka Bashir talks about. Infinite static frames of reality that our consciousness moves through so fast we perceive it as a reality with motion, and as such, infinite realities and choices. Wow. Channeler Daryl Anka Bashar. Infinite static frames of reality that our consciousness moves through so fast we perceive it as a reality with motion, and as such, infinite realities and choices. I've always kind of pictured, or at least ever since I've heard of the multiverse and branching infinite universes based off of different superposition states resolving one way or another. Like a infinitely complex kind of crystal lattice that is expanding out, and each little facet is another reality, and consciousness is like a light that moves through the crystal. It's but that's kind of 420 kind of stuff, like Red Monarch. I hail Red Monarch, by the way, if you're out there. So that's interesting. Thank you, Ankaris. Gary, any comments on that? Since you've been, you've journeyed, you've walked the road of altered consciousness. That ring true to you, or?
Yeah, it does. Like I said, it's hard to explain. It's not good for you, but when you do stuff like that, it lifts a veil. Consciousness that I didn't know existed, and it could be purely just chemical, but it felt like a lot more than that. For example, real quick, if anybody who's like tripped on acid knows that if you fry with somebody, a group of friends or something like that, and somebody new was there, when you're done, it feels like you've known them for 10 years. It's something like I said, deeper. Again, it could just be a chemical reaction. Who knows?
Yeah. It's
Short answer.
just weird. But Ro Diablo is saying, ha 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 ha, dude, hail Red Monarch. Yes. Hail Red Monarch, he of the 420, the prophet of the 420. What a guy. Let's see. We've got Sci-Fi Freak with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Sci-Fi Freak. Says physicists can predict the jumps of Schrodinger's cat and finally save it by Yale University. Okay. Well, nobody's actually, no cats were actually harmed in the production of that thought experiment, Sci-Fi Freak. I promise you. It's just a notion. And actually it's a flawed notion, in my opinion, because, the cat is conscious. So, you're talking about, observation, measurement. Well, the cat is observing. So doesn't that matter? But I guess it's a human centric view of experimentation. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Sci-Fi Freak. Gary Ambrosia with 3 $4.99 super chats. Did you mean to do that, Gary? Hail Gary Ambrosia. And on the third, on the first 2 super chats, they're written in invisible runes that only appear under the full moon and Midsummer's Eve. But Gary Ambrosia with the third one went ahead and translated it into English. And he says, Gary, get out to Rachel, Nevada. You'll see something. Guaranteed.
Rachel, Nevada?
Yeah.
Damn. I'll get in my car and go right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I have permission to talk out of school. I've communicated with Gary Ambrosia about this stuff, and he's got some interesting stories. I'll just put it that way. Hail Gary Ambrosia, and thank you, man, very much for all those super chats and for your support. And Apex Tyrannus with a $10 super chat says, bring on Isaac Arthur to talk about the Dyson dilemma, and you will question it too. Because it would mean the truth is much bigger than any of us imagine. If the Tic Tac is real, my lord, rabbit hole. Isaac Arthur to talk about the Dyson dilemma.
The Tic Tac is real.
If the Tic Tac is real, it would mean the truth is much bigger than any of us imagine about this Dyson dilemma. Well, maybe we should think about that, Apex Tyrannus. Send me a link, would you? That's the best way to do it. Send me a link at dictorvandoomcock@gmail.com, and that would be awesome.
Yeah. Dyson. Like Dyson bike vacuums?
Yes. Why isn't reality sucked up, man? Because, we're all in the thumbnail, man. And if you trim that thumbnail, then that's whole thousands of galaxies on the rug. And if it gets sucked up by the Dyson, man, dude, is that foretold by Nostradamus? I don't know. But the Dyson, yeah, we'll look into it, man. Hail Apex Tyrannus, and thank you very much for that tip. So Gary, you were going to show us this thing you found here.
Yeah. Let me, God dang, I'm going on these websites now. It's there's 8 rabbit holes I'm going to go down after this show.
About the Dyson stuff?
Everything we've been talking about. I've been taking my notes, right? And every time I put something up, I find something else. I'm like, oh, man. Christ, we could do a 9-hour show tonight. If I know you can't. Here we go. Let me
send me some links, dude, so we can talk about some of these next week too.
I'll drop them all in that in your DMs.
Thank you.
This is CFAPS, and Megalithomania is another great channel. Hugh Newman is good dude. All right, I'm going to keep the sound off. So,
okay.
What were there's an ancient impact site found in Egypt, and there it is. So this is the one we know about. There's a big crater up north, and it's pretty big. And they say this one might have wiped out the early kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But then, he talks about it a little bit, and then he finds that these are paintings of an illustration of a fallen celestial body and escaping man. And these paintings are all over the place, right?
Really?
And everything fundamentally changed in Egypt after this. Like they started worshiping different things. And then he goes to the south of Egypt and he finds all this. Hang on, he won't mind. All of these freaking craters, like everywhere. And he's got them pinned, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'll show how many he's got pinned. He doesn't show them all, but there you go. There's one. So that's a legit crater that we know is a crater. Then he's going to get to the ones that are either just not talked about. I mean, you got to remember, like, not every inch of the sand has been gone. They haven't combed the sand like they did in Spaceballs, like in modern times. So we've got this one right here. There's another one. And then here's another one.
Wow.
And I'm trying to get to where he's got them all pinned, where you can see how many. Here is, I want to try to fast forward this. Here's another one, another two right there. And he goes back. There's three.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's freaking.
Boy, just pockmarked.
Yep. There's another one. Here's another one. That's a possibility. Another one.
Oh my God.
Another
what the
one.
hell they think happened?
It just got pelted with a bunch of just, not huge meteors, but big enough to, maybe the size of cars. And it was just a shower that here, let me find where it shows how much he has pinned. It's insane. Here it goes, right there. That's how many he's got pinned, just in that region. There's there's like 20.
Wow.
All over the place. So that's the kind of rabbit hole I'd like to go down. And yeah, it's not that weird, but it's also, it shows that that's why we should just goddamn be happy and live our lives, because you never know when because if something like this happens now, it's not going to end the world or anything, especially if it hits in Egypt, but it fucked this region up for a century or more, a lot longer, hundreds of years, famine and everything, and that was just that area. So God, you can even see more now that you're backed up. You can see a little circle here.
Yeah.
Here. Here. Yeah. It got pelted. So,
wow.
And this, you just don't hear about. Yeah. They don't even talk about it.
Yeah, that's true, man. That is weird.
And he said that there's like a bunch of shit getting dug up here. If you haven't, the video is called Egypt's Impact Catastrophe Found and Old Kingdom's End. Great video. Great video.
Outstanding. Dude, that's a great find.
Yeah. Yeah, he's some guy. He lives in Vegas, and I guess he spends all his days going over Google Maps, makes videos.
Isn't that amazing that people are that meticulous and make that stuff happen? I mean, that is really amazing. I mean, that's the guy that found that image on Mars.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't even know where to go for Mars photography. I'll start looking. I guess NASA, but I mean, are they going to F with the images or not? And,
NASA, never a straight answer. That's pretty much a correct acronym for them. I gotta say. And Karis here raises a good point with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Ankaras. Says the moon is about 400 times smaller than the sun, but it also happens to be about 400 times closer to Earth. Thus, the moon eclipses the sun exactly. Those odds are off the scale.
That's like flipping 1,000 heads at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for it to happen.
Absolutely bizarre. And the fact that I mean, there's just so many weird. We've done weird shows about the moon. We'll probably do some more because You can never talk enough about how weird the moon is, Ankaras. You're absolutely right. 1,000 heads right there. That's it. Multiverses proven. God, that is, yes. How's your father? Says Ankaras. That frightens me. It should. I mean, there is official NASA documentation. Look it up, folks. It's about transient lunar events, dating back to, I don't know, 1700s, whenever they first had telescopes. They were observing lights on the moon, mists on the moon, all sorts of weird shit. Cardinal Sin with a $2 super chat says, you must get the new edition of Dark Mission. I didn't know there was a new edition of Dark Mission. Damn, I do need to get that. Dark Mission is a great book. You've read that, haven't you, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one. That is a great one. I didn't know there was a new edition of that. That's fantastic. Thank you, Cardinal Sin, and thank you, Ankaras. Deef with a $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Deef says, have you seen the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah, destroyed by fire and brimstone, exactly as described in the Bible? No, I have not. I did not know that they had actually identified any sites that were actually of Sodom and Gomorrah. Does anyone in the chat know that? Gary, do you know anything about that?
No, I thought they found what they thought was it Babylon or Sodom and Gomorrah? I'll look. Hang on.
Yeah, I have not heard that, so I cannot address that. But Apex Tyrannus says, you need to show those amazing videos, my lord. Most people have not seen how awesome the moon looks with those high definition videos. Looks like they were filmed today.
Yeah,
I probably should, unless it's copyrighted. I mean, that's the issue, but I'll look into it. And Cardinal Sin says it has an extra chapter. Interesting. And Deep says they discovered the site in the 80s.
Yeah, they did. And they think it was a meteor exploding.
Wow.
That's what the scientists say.
Wiped clean by the wrath of God. In a sandstorm that lasted 40 years or something like that. What was it in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Or was it just a year? I forget.
Wiped by the wrath of God.
Yes.
I think
clean by the wrath of God.
Oh my God. So I look at the ruins for Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And then I get world's oldest homosexual couple found in ancient ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah.
For God's sake.
And it's two skeletons. Yeah.
Getting it on? Walk it down. Tito, walk it down. Tito, walk it down.
Yeah. I'm your backdoor man.
Wow. Interesting. And Sci-Fi Freak, thank you for the $5 super chat. Very much appreciated. Or it's an Invisible Man super sticker. I'm not sure. But thank you so much. Sci-Fi Freak. And Hamhock says, I said no camels. And Ian Spencer says, sorry, Hoagland caught NASA airbrushing. Oh, yeah. NASA's definitely airbrush stuff. No doubt about it. You know that, Gary. They definitely have.
I forgot her name. That one lady you said happening.
Oh, yeah. And they were just like blasé about it. It's like, yeah, I got to airbrush out this bit and that bit. And they've even like turned up duplicate photos of, well, here's it before it was airbrushed and here's a copy after it was airbrushed. So that's pretty telling, I have to say. And John Galt says, dirty deeds done to sheep. Amen. Hail.
Hey, he was trying to help that sheep over the fence. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Gary, I know that you and we have busy days tomorrow, but I've had a great time tonight, man. And I'm so sorry about the confusion, whatever it was earlier, but thank you for coming on tonight, man.
Hey, no, thanks for having me. I love this show.
I love it, and we've got a whole bunch of new ideas from folks that we'll be looking at this next week. And next week, Gary, the show will be on your channel.
And next Thursday, tune in, and we're gonna keep doing like this. I love this. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun stuff. I think the Michael Cream. I think we can do the UPAs.
Oh, that would be great.
Artifacts.
That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, Gary, plug your channel, my friend.
Oh, I have a channel called Nerdrotic, and I have Nerdrotic Live where you can find the ExoZone. I don't know. I'm working on a couple videos. They may get done. They may not. I'm not sure. But I've got a lot of stuff coming out this month. A lot of content coming out this month. So,
really? Kicking into hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive. Well, the studio's pretty much done. So now I can like actually work on my work and not, have to like between I don't want to bore you. Like I've been up every night. Like I'll spend a couple hours soundproofing and then, unpacking the house and, paying attention to the kid and stuff. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately.
Oh my God.
I'm looking forward to sleep tonight. That's going to be great.
Yeah, me too. It's been a hard week. So, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Gary, dude, thank you. Please subscribe also to the Harvey Zone if you're new here. I would really like to do more with this channel. We just don't have a lot of subscribers, but please subscribe here, and you won't miss ExoZone notifications. And this is the native environment of ExoZone. I just leave them up. When they're done, I don't have to re-upload them or anything. They are perfectly good here. So enjoy them. Please subscribe. And also, Overlord DVD, my main channel. Well, Gary, shall we wrap this up and say good night?
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. And from the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and Harvey Cthulhu and Sabu, who's been kind of asleep, and Nerdrotic Channel's Gary Beekler, bidding you all, my friends, stay angry, stay safe.
Ciao.
See you later. Bye-bye.